cold at the touch, dead in the eyes, no signs of life no more. I put your love under the knife. Leave me to die here all alone. No signs of life no more, no. A crying dove may never fly. Black and white. Yeah. Black and white. Oh. 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 It's black and white. Oh. Black and white, just let me go. It's only right for all I know. It's only matter. It's calico. It's black and white. Just let me go. It's only right for all I know. It's only matter. It's calico. It's black and white. Black and white. Yeah. Black and white. Oh. 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 It's black and white. It's black and white.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Simracersworld TV, and welcome to another fantastic evening, or what's definitely guaranteed to be a fantastic evening, in the Porsche Club GB Sim Racing Championship. My name is Chaz Draycott, and alongside me is the man that's probably dribbling with excitement already, because of the fact we're at Sebring, Peter MacKay. Peter, it feels like forever since we did the last round, but it was a hell of a laugh at Donington Park. Tonight should be a real corker, though, at this legendary circuit.
Oh, Chaz Draycott, you know me too well. You know my dear, dear love for Sebring. I absolutely adore this place. A proper old-school racing circuit. And, well, in these 911 Cup cars, I think the drivers in both the club and the pro classes are in for the biggest challenge of the season as yet.
Yeah, definitely. It's not an easy circuit to get right lap after lap. Quite bumpy as well on an old airfield, of course, especially the final sector at Sunset Bend. We are going to see some big moments there tonight. They have also got to challenge these curbs as well, which will not be helping people out. You know about the fact that this circuit, it's not actually the widest circuit in the world when you get onto the infield section, but those curbs, especially in this sector now where we're looking at Anrik Sashdev, this bit can really harm your lap times if you just cut it too fine, can't it?
Yeah, that's what makes Sebring such a challenge. We all know well about the bumps, but you're spot on to mention the curbs. If you just touch them, all of a sudden you get pogoed onto two wheels, especially in these Cup cars. But as you can see, Anrik Sashdev, I'm sure he'll take us on a nice lap here of Sebring heading down towards the hairpin. Now, back in 1957, Stirling Moss actually was given, he slowed down and was given a bottle of Coca-Cola at that corner, finished it on the next lap, and then threw it at the photographer that gave it to him.
It's the fact that he threw it back that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Well,
politely, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Not sort of launched it at his head.
So wouldn't mind getting rid of that, would you, old boy?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. The Stirling Moss way, as we all grew to love. Luke Holroyd is currently fastest in the club class, just ahead of Tom Slater, and I say just ahead.
He also has a man bun.
He does. 9,000ths of a second ahead at the moment, so very, very close indeed. And on a lap that's over 2 minutes, that's an unbelievably close lap time in relative terms, isn't it, really?
It is, but if you'd be surprised to think that actually both Luke Holroyd and Tom Slater both have more time in the tank in practice. Slater setting a 204.56 and Luke Holroyd a 204.59. So just 300th between them in the favour of Slater in practice. And obviously it's now flipped around. But as you can see, Tom Slater now on his second flying lap and coming into Sunset Bend. And they call this the corner of 1,000 racing lines. And it's true. There is so many different ways around here. I've yet to hit the apex yet. And in this particular car, it doesn't like braking and turning at the same time. You've got to be right on the knife edge. And oh, look at that. Luke Holroyd pulls out a lap time. 204.451 eclipses Slater by 7/10 of a second, and Carwood Dean by 3/10.
Yeah, a fantastic lap there by Luke Holroyd. He will be very, very pleased with that one. We have Jared Coleman just rounding out the top 10 at the moment in the number 64 machine. Scratch that. Ryan Penny goes 9th in the 99, the Jaeger Bull. We now have Heinz Meyer going 10th as well. So everybody gradually improving here, but 4.8 seconds covering the top 20 isn't really that bad. We did expect quite a bit in terms of pace spread around here. As I've mentioned, it is quite the long lap as Shepherd goes 4th place. Andrew Shepherd in the wonderful livery that just looks like a polo shirt, as Peter and I have discussed. But this club class so far, no disrespect to the pro class because we know how talented those boys are, but I'd say this club class has been just unbelievably entertaining because we never know how it's going to turn out, do we?
Not at all. I completely agree. This is definitely the more unpredictable of the two classes. I reckon there's at least 10 drivers who could win a race at any meeting. Now, I don't think we could quite say the same thing about the pro class, maybe 5 or 6 in the pro class, but that's what makes the club class so exciting, particularly when we get into the context of the reverse grid race. And as we've laboured the point quite a lot, but rightly so, it's all about what you do in the reverse grid race is what determines whether you're going to be a championship threat or not.
Yeah, that's it, and it's the consistency that you carry through each round. We've both been in situations where we'll have a track that we're better at than other circuits and a real bogey track for us, and every driver has that really. Unlike some of the very, very top iRacing drivers that just seem to be quick everywhere, but you do have a lot of these circuits where you can do all right, but then there's a big number of them where not quite. Slater's gone quicker. He's done a 204.679, so he's just over 2/10 behind provisional poleman Luke Holroyd. But to be fair, it's a second covering, well, the top 7 at the minute, essentially. It's pretty close between those guys.
It is, and of course we come into this round of the championship with an incredibly tight points battle. Luke Holroyd, Angus Archer and Danny Jones, not in that order, but they're all covered by 3 points. All 3 of them, absolutely exceptional. Now, this is very helpful. A new livery here from one of our South African drivers, Ralph Meyer. We've got Heinz Meyer and Ralph Meyer, and Ralph has got Big Bro in massive letters on the side of it, so we needn't be in any doubt who's who out on track.
Yeah, indeed. I think I'm not even going to do it on live on air, but I was going to take a guess at the character's name on the bonnet because I've seen it before, but I think I would have got it wrong. Paul Stout in a lovely wins livery.
I thought you were going to do a South African accent.
Oh no!
Oh, look at that car! Just on the limit, the ragged edge. Oh, he's actually broken the simulator. He's so fast.
Begins already. Right then, everybody, the first grid of the evening in the club class then. Luke Holroyd on pole with Tom Slater and Oliver Carwadine on the 3rd position slot, with Danny Jones 4th, Andrew Shepherd 5th ahead of Paul Goffin, Amrit Sachtev, Angus Archer, not Andy Archer, and Ryan Penny 9th, with João Esteves, race winner in this championship, starting 10th. We then have Jared Coleman and Heinz Meyer, as mentioned. Andrew Soper 13th ahead of Gilles Gardner, Paul Stout and Michael Rowe, with Carl Hazelton and Ralph Mayer on row 9. It's then Spencer Ayres and Mark Elvin, with Andrew Marston and Greg Butterworth on row 11, ahead of David Patching and Jamie Ward. And just behind them at the back of the grid, not having such a Brill time, is Peter Brill. So we've had some strong front runners so far this season in the club class at this point, Peter. Is there anybody in particular that you've got your eye on for this one?
Ooh, good question. I think, it's, well, funnily enough, I was speaking to Luke Holroyd earlier, and he was very much playing down his chances, saying he was finding it difficult, but clearly he's cut the man bun off and taken off that ballast, and he's now flying. But watch for Amrit Sachtev. He's been quick during the week. Starting 7th, he'll need to get a quick start, but I think what we're more likely to see is a bit of a head-to-head clash between Holroyd and Slater. Remember how it ended up 2 weeks ago at Donington Park?
Yes, indeed. Well, head-to-head is what we're going to get now, and we're just about to find out. The lights come on then for round 7 of the PCGB Sim Racing Championship. They're away. Good launch control. Someone has dropped right down. Ryan Penny. Oh. Paul Stout, I think it is stationary. He's actually hit the back. Yeah, Ryan Penny did not get going anywhere, and now he's got severe damage, so he's going to be out of this one. But look at that. Oliver Carwadine down the inside of Tom Slater through turn 1. Ryan Penny is pulled over due to his issues, and that is it, unfortunately. We've got Jamie Ward and Michael Rowe around, but Danny Jones, as you say, having a bit of a moment into there, Peter.
No, amazing, properly opportunistic overtaking manoeuvre there from Danny Jones. Well, he's got the cheeky Harry Bobear on the back there, and that was a proper cheeky pass in the best possible way. But Holroyd leads, down they go into the hairpin, turn 7. Oh, now this is where the lack of anti-lock brakes really will show up in these cars. Apart from Carl Hazelton, he won't need that ABS. That's for amateurs. But watch for brake lockups there. And when these brakes lock up, you really spike the tire temperature, which is not good. No,
it really isn't. It's the last thing that these drivers want, isn't it? Either way, fantastic start to the race for most of them. Just a real shame for Ryan Penny and the driver that went into the back of him. It was just a real horrible situation to be in. Not quite sure why the car didn't go anywhere, but I'm sure we'll find out at some point. We're on board now with Angus Archer, though. 8th place at the moment with João Esteves behind him. Paul Goffin just in front, who's dropped 1 place from where he started, although Angus was going rather slowly there, and I don't really know why, in all honesty. But it just seemed to me like he backed out there for a second. Potentially a slowdown penalty or something?
Possibly, yeah. To be honest, you could also just be waiting for the tyre to come in, because when the tyres are cold, of course, we do a standing start, so tyres are ice cold at the start of the race, and these cars can be really nasty and unpredictable when the tyre is cold. Of course, Angus Archer, a real-world Porsche Club of Great Britain racer, races in a spec Boxster, and we must mention that Angus has incredibly generously offered a run in his car, in his AMS Porsche race car, for the safest and the most consistent driver in each class. Incredibly generous from Angus.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal from him. Bless him. It's a very, very nice thing to do, and it's a good incentive, to get a bit of experience in one of the real cars as well. It may not be the exact same car, but either way, it's still a full-blown...
Race car's a race car.
Exactly, it's a full-blown race car Porsche, so who wouldn't want to go? I know I would. Now, this is Oliver Carwadine thinking, does Tom Slater want to go? Because Oliver got ahead at the very start, and Tom really does not want that. He, as Peter expected, he wanted a battle between the top two on the grid, but we've not got that at the minute, have we, mate?
No, and I tell you what, Red Bull and Jameson, that's a horrible, horrible, horrible mix. with a chaser of Haribo. Oh no, whoa! Oh, that's not blue sky thinking from Gregory Butterworth.
No, indeed, very green grass thinking. Oh no, Shepard and Sashdev. Oh, it's all gone to pot. Shepard herds himself back on. He's gonna need a guide dog by the look of it. He's not quite. Oh, the car's very broken actually. Very, very broken. Let's see what happened here between these two.
Get that down to Porsche Centre Chester for some new suspension.
Oh, Amric just.
Oh, Amric. Now that is so easy to do in that corner because it's downhill, and when you catch a draft, you're just going that tiny bit quicker than you expect. And yeah, that's all that happened there. Really unlucky for both, particularly for Andrew Shepard.
Yeah, that was a real gutting moment for both of them. Like you say, easy to do from Amric. Such a shame because he was one of the hot picks for the race. Like you say, he's been very, very quick all week. He had the chance to come through. It's a little bit close here between Carl Hazelton and Amric Sashdev now. Spencer Ayres just behind with the very aggressive sort of shark mouth design on the Silverstone detailing machine. Looking down the inside, there was a big lock-up behind as well. I think it was Paul Stout. No, I think it was Andrew Soper, sorry, having the big, big lock-up in the 72 machine. It was Paul Stout that went into the back of Ryan Penny at the start, wasn't it? And got that big, big damage.
Yes. That's your worst nightmare when someone doesn't quite get off the start in front of you and there's nowhere to go and it happens so quickly. We see it all the time in real racing as well, don't we? You just see a car stall on the line and you shut your eyes. Yeah, as a viewer, you go, oh no, please get through there safe. I mean, when it really gives me a panic is when you see someone near the front of a motorcycle grid stall on the grid or hit a technical problem. You see them put their hand up and you go, oh no.
Yeah.
And most of 99 times out of 100, they all get through clean because these guys they're ninjas on wheels.
Yeah, they are absolute ninjas. Their reactions and just quick thinking. Not even the fact that they just humanly react as, we literally look away from Paul Stout. There's the Chaz curse, everybody. You look away from something for a bit and it goes to pot. But Paul Stout, unfortunately, having a moment there. Probably just a little bit eager on the throttle out of the hairpin. We've all done it. But as an interesting note, not to go on about this too much, but I actually watched the last sort of 10 minutes of the first MotoGP round at Doha in Qatar, and I could not believe my eyes, much like Spencer can't believe his eyes as he's off the circuit. That just looks like, although he might have actually had a bit of a, as he lit it up himself, he's going to hit that curb. Yep. Under rotates the inside wheels. Oh, just clips the wall as well. That's going to need some detailing done.
Knocked his front teeth out.
But one thing I couldn't believe is the fact that I think it was Mir was coming out of the final corner on the very last lap with about half a second ahead of both the Ducatis, and then the two Ducatis are that fast in a straight line that by the time they got to the finish line, they were both half a second ahead of him.
Yeah, I think he got a pretty poor exit out of them. He ran wide, got into the final corner, but I have a suspicion that he choked out of fuel as well because he did.
It was very sudden,
wasn't it? It was very sudden, exactly. I think, I think that's what it might have been. Suzuki, of course, haven't admitted that, but I have a feeling that that's maybe what it is. But this is intriguing at the front because I thought Luke Holroyd was gone. I thought he was checking out, but actually just now settling into a rhythm, maybe playing it clever, thinking, okay, that's quite fast enough. I've got a long race here, 13 minutes to go. Now, this is Spencer Ayres. Oh,
trying to put one of his teeth back in.
Put another, knock the teeth back in. Yeah, put a gum. Somebody get him a gum shield.
Or a gummy bear. This is what happened. Oh, he hits the inside wall, upsets the car, and
needs more front end bite.
Indeed it does. But that was a very, very rough moment there, unfortunately for Spencer Ayres. He does continue though, so he's pushing on, which is one of the best things about this championship. You know, you won't see these drivers giving up. They all give it absolutely everything. They love what they do, and we love watching it and commentating on it. It's a hell of a lot of fun. But this is very interesting up front because, like you say, I thought Luke Holroyd was gone and he was just going to put the pace in lap after lap and take a win here. But Oliver Carbadine, it's not like he's got in front of Tom Slater and then held him up. You know, he's got in front of him and he's been able to match Luke's pace. There's been a little bit, slight variation. I mean, 0.3 quicker last time round was Carbadine. There's, Soper, Elvin and Meyer have all had a moment at, that's Tower Bend, is it not? As he's going to come back over. Hello. Oh, my goodness me. Paul Stout, how did you get through there, sunshine? Let's have a look at what caused this then, Peter.
So, Andrew Soper in the...
it
looked like... It was almost as if the suspension broke while he was going around Tower Bend there onto the Flying Fortress Straight.
Oh, what a name.
Not sure. Isn't it cool? Because, they used to have... Now, this is something that Sebring and Snetterton have in common. They both had fleets of Flying Fortress B-17 aircraft, as we see Slater trying to go around the outside at turn 3 of Oliver Carbadine, and Carbadine says, "Are you on drugs?" Oh, and then he says, "Oh, maybe I'm on drugs."
Yeah, something clouded his vision there. Maybe it was too much Red Bull or the Jameson, but either way, the alcoholic option makes it through. And that was a bit of an interesting one there between those pair. Wasn't quite expecting Oliver Carbadine to go so deep into the corner. We've not really seen many mistakes from him, to be fair, but that is one of them. Greg Butterworth's had an issue. I think someone's put butter under the tyres. Whoa! And then just in front, Soper has his own moment. I thought they'd come together there, but wow, that was a massive, massive hit for Butterworth. Just way too hot into Sunset Bend. Maybe got the sun in his eyes, but that was a humongous hit. And it's moments like that, really, where we're grateful that it's sim racing, isn't it?
Yeah, because that would hurt. It's any comfort. Now, I hope when Gregory watches the race back, you can take comfort that Jimmy Johnson, 7-time NASCAR champion, made that exact same mistake in qualifying for the Sebring 12-hour and wrote off a Cadillac DPI, which would not have been cheap. No. So if Jimmy Johnson can do it, anybody can do it. Now, looking at Paul Goffin here with a beautiful, correct Martini livery as well. And actually, Martini, this was one of the first circuits that they ever advertised at. Of course, they've been racing here at Sebring since 1950, but since the mid-1950s, been huge Martini banners there since almost the very beginning of racing here.
It is awesome when you do get stuff like that, that's been around the entire time of the circuit. I was at Nogaro on the weekend, and they've got a very, very old pit lane on what used to be the main straight. They've since updated it, but it was only updated in 2007. But the old pit straight still has all the really old Shell branding on it, and it's all like painted on as well. It's not like stickers or anything. It's like hand painted, so some of it's really rough, and all the yellow's like died out of it. It's like orange and white now instead of red and yellow, and it's amazing. And when I went to Monza actually 2 years ago, I noticed that on the back of one of the Armco barriers, it was a very old barrier that had been sort of reused in a different location, because upside down on it, obviously as it had been turned away from the bit that faces the circuit, there was some really old Marlboro branding on the back of it that had sort of like rusted and flaked off in places, and it was just noticing it was just incredible, because you never know how long that one piece of barrier has been at the circuit, and it's just one of those lovely things that reminds you of how legendary a lot of these tracks are, isn't it?
Well, I've been very lucky to be reading a book called The Sebring Story, which was written by a guy called Alec Ullman, who basically brought racing to Sebring in 1950, and it's an original copy from 1969.
Wow. And
the person who owned it before has written that it's got their name written in it and everything. So it's been fantastic to read all the stories, and like you say, it's that's what. The heritage is kind of interwoven with all these stories. It's a bit like going on an archaeological dig, I'm sure, going around places like that. But you see little little hints, and oh dear, oh, David Paching has gone Paching into the wall. Oh dear, oh, his suspension's gone Paching as well.
Yeah.
Oh dearie me. Oh, now that's going to be more difficult to drive than opening one of their sachets.
It is. That's more brown trousers than brown sauce, I'm afraid, as he goes down the inside. Whoa, very brown trousers indeed. Disappears, and then suddenly...
Well, to avoid Peter Brill, though.
Yeah, indeed. He did a brilliant job, you could say, but that was a scary, scary moment there. Definitely brown trouser, though, I would say. But not for Luke Holroyd at the minute in the number 911, 911. Oh! Well, there you go. That's me saying we don't often... Oh, no! Paul Goffin has boffed him. Now, what's he going to do here? Ah!
Not that.
Mreek. Oh, good Lord. Oh, these boys know how to put our hearts in our mouths, don't they, Peter? Flipping heck.
Goodness, much money, Bernie.
Yeah. Well, this is
Sunset Bend. He didn't actually miss it by that much, but if you hit the wrong bump, you are unguided projectile. What a shame there for 164 of Goffin. Nothing he could do.
No, it was smashed into, not stirred by the look of it there from Paul Goffin, I'm afraid. But like you say, not a lot you can do in those moments. But now, the chaser has literally become the chaser here, with Danny Jones in the Haribo car, chasing the Jameson car of Tom Slater. A fantastic battle that I've been very eager to see, because Danny Jones has been a real star this season. He's been a lot of fun to watch. I think actually Tom Slater has had his own issue, and that's why Danny's suddenly caught up. Yeah, he has. Because I just thought then, I'm sure that Danny lost a lot of time before, and that is exactly why he's with him. So Tom Slater having his own little mistake, and Danny's sticking with him now. And, I mean, if anything, that's helped this man, hasn't it, really? Luke Holroyd off in the distance now, 5.5 seconds.
Yeah, and that will be probably 3 laps to go. I think it'll be just 3 rather than 2 laps to go for Luke Holroyd. But been a really measured drive, and I think now he'll be well aware of the gap that he's got. He'll have that information, so he'll just be looking to just stroke it home to the finish here. Very easy to say, very difficult to do, but that's what's very important. As you can see on the back of Andy Marston's Pink Pig there, recovering now on board Ollie Carmadine's car, and you see on the back of it PCGB Sim Racing Magazine, which you and I are very lucky to grace with our incorrect grammar and dull stories.
Yeah, indeed. Andrew approached me, it was about 2-3 weeks ago now, and asked for me to write something, and in typical Chaz fashion, I forgot until the last minute, because I'm awful with stuff like that. But yeah, it was wonderful to be a part of that, and obviously I've seen your articles in there as well, which is always a good read, because I always read it in your voice as well. That's one thing that I always have to read it with your voice, because I just know how composed you'd sound when you say it all, compared to...
I can send you an audio clip if you like.
Oh, the audiobook would be wonderful. But Danny Jones doesn't want a copy of any audiobook right now, because he's worrying about Tom Slater just behind him, because he's got ahead, but we know what Tom's like. He's just going to go straight back for this. He's not going to allow him to get away. Ryan Parkins pointing out that the tyres are getting hot. Yes, they certainly will be. As look at that. That's hot from Sashdev down the inside of Heinz Meyer in the Crockery Direct machine. Now that's begging for a pun. Crockery Direct. We're gonna load some of them into our brains, I'm sure, over the next.
Spatula out a load of puns about that one.
Oh, well, sorry, Heinz. I think there's some sort of irony there. I hope he doesn't get crashed into by David Patching. But Danny Jones now up into second place. Oh, Michael Rowe is on pit road for some reason. The car looks fine, other than the fact it's got a Valvoline logo on it. No, it's a good livery, to be fair, but really not sure why he's coming in there. Maybe...
Is he serving a drive-through?
I think he might be, yeah. Because normally we see drivers pull over to the side very early in the pit lane, don't we? It does look, yeah, drive-through. That's very, very strange. Not sure whether he's had a slowdown and not served it in time, or... To be fair, some of them... I know some series... Yeah, but he would have had to serve that in 3 laps, I think.
Huh.
I know that some series, they do have incident limits where you get a drive-through penalty if you get a certain amount. So even if you get a lot of off-tracks, then you'll end up with the amount that you need for a drive-through. But either way, he's served it and he's back out. But look at this between Danny Jones and Tom Slater. Tom trying around the outside into turn 1. Danny tucks it in. Close to the wall, but don't forget Tom's going to get a really good run now down towards turn 2. Hard braking zone. He's managed to get a very good one. He's on the inside. Tiny overlap. Late on the brakes. Danny gives him only the room he needs, but Tom Slater nice and clean down the inside there. Beautiful stuff.
Very nice move indeed, yes. Really super clean from Tom Slater. But the thing is, with these 911 GT3 Cup machines, of course, this is the car that is used for the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup at the very highest level of sim racing, a £200,000 prize pot, no less. And to arguably to improve the quality of the racing, the effectively the draft effect on this car is greater than it used to be. So you can actually be up to a second behind and actually get a pretty strong slipstream from the car in front. So that's bound to have an effect. And actually, without that little mistake, Tom Slater was certainly close enough to get that slipstream from Luke Holroyd. But certainly we've got enough time in the season left for Tom Slater to be able to mount a championship challenge from now, because he's showing super pace.
Yeah, indeed. He's been rapid. Absolutely rapid. And I mean, to be fair, earlier he didn't really clear off from Danny Jones that much after he made that mistake, but obviously he could have just been looking after the tyres after heating them up with the spin. So yeah, now he's just unlocked it and he's just driving away from the Haribo machine. But speaking of driving away, Luke Holroyd is up the road by 6.4 seconds. He's on a real charge, doing a smashing job. But while you can have a strong performance, not to sort of undermine what Luke's doing right now, it's an amazing performance, but you and I both know, Peter, that you can have an amazing first race, but it demands a whole different bag, sort of making it through the field in the reverse grid race, doesn't it?
It's absolutely true. Yeah, we saw it so many times with Ryan Parkins in the first 2 seasons of the Porsche Club of Great Britain. And the thing is, a win in race 1 is, it kind of becomes a bit inconsequential if you've crashed in race 2. And that there was often quite a bit of that. You'd see drivers finish very high up the order in race 1, brilliant, and then get into problems quite early on in race 2. So that's going to be the trick, and I suspect that we'll see Luke Holroyd being pretty cautious, and rightly so, in the early stages of that reverse grid race. When we've all been there, when you get that reverse grid, you know if you're not used to running at the front and you get an opportunity to be there, you always try that little bit harder, and that sometimes, it often breeds mistakes. So yeah, for Luke and his fellow front runners, they'll have to be pretty patient and steady in those early laps of the reverse grid race.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, some of the first laps that we saw last season from Ryan Parkins were just the absolute epitome of patience. There were other drivers that were just about as quick as him, starting around him, but they pushed that little bit more going forward, and they'd end up getting in incidents or just getting caught up in something a little bit silly here or there by just sticking their nose down the inside, getting caught up in what someone else is doing. And, with Ryan holding back how he did, that's how he won another championship and became reigning King Hippo the second time round. But it's interesting that we get to see it still with the 2 different classes now. So there's less of a spread between all the drivers, keeps the whole field nice and close together compared to the previous seasons, but at the same time we get more occasions where we get these different driving styles, as Mark Elvin is showing us. His driving style includes being on the grass, as Spencer Ayres does the same there in the background, unfortunately, but comes back on. But towards Sunset Bend for the final time in round 7 of the Porsche Club GB Sim Racing Championship here from Sebring in the club class, Luke Holroyd is already flashing the lights. He's very, very pleased, and what a clean performance that was. Another win under his belt then for Luke Holroyd, smashing stuff. Tom Slater 4 seconds back in the end, really charging at the end of that race there. Danny Jones finishes on the podium, and Angus Archer climbs up 4 spots to finish 4th, with João Estevez in 5th. That's a great drive from him. Very under the radar indeed, Peter.
Indeed it is, yeah. Channeling his inner João Barbosa, who of course has had a lot of success here at Sebring International Raceway. Now we've got a final little duel here between Andrew Soper and Spencer Ayres, and Mark Elvin in there too. Now, despite being adorned over a very bent-up race car, the Michelin man still got a big smile on his face.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. He's got his rolls out and everything. Absolutely loving it, as I do. But Oh, Soper moves over a little bit there. Covers off Spencer Ezra on the outside. Now they're doing this to try and get a really good run on the exit of the corner. You take a later apex. As Peter said before, it's the line of 1,000 corners. No, the corner of 1,000 lines. Across the line they go. Spencer Ezra getting very close to Soper, but doesn't do it in the end. Very close between those guys. Awesome to watch. Really exciting stuff. We still have some other drivers yet to finish the race. Ryan Penny did continue after having his issues at the start, which is always good. And again, comes back to the point I made early on, Peter. You know, we don't see these guys giving up. They just crack on and get on with it, don't they? It's brilliant.
That's it. There's no merit in giving up. Also, the organisers will actually give you a penalty because if you have a crash and go back and just sit in the pit lane and in a huff, of course, that means you'll then get reverse grid pole, and that is not allowed in the rules. Being in a huff, well, they can't really, people be in a huff if they're in a huff, but you can't you can't sit in the pit lane and then take reverse grid pole effectively. So you have to, if you're caught doing that, then you will feel the wrath of Bernie, and trust me, you don't want that.
No. Bless him, Mark Phillips. He's an absolute legend, isn't he? But, well, I think that was a really, really, really clean race. I enjoyed that a lot, and I thoroughly look forward to the second one that we're about to get here as we wait for the grid. It's not coming up for some reason. That's lots of fun, isn't it? Oh, we have the warm-up session, don't we? That's why. We don't have a grid when you don't have anything going on. Just a warm-up between the two. So many formats to remember. But either way, I'm excited to see what happens with this reverse grid, because like you said, we see a lot of patience from these drivers, and they're going to really need it around here, because this is a track where braking zones are very dominant here. As part of a driver's pace, it's all about where they brake. And I think that some of the drivers coming through, if they've got a slower driver in front that's braking earlier, we may see a number of back ends being lifted off the floor here in this second race. What do you reckon?
There's certainly a possibility of that, and these 911 noses, they can be a little bit scoopy, shall we say, which is not so good. So yes, that's certainly a danger. However, for any of the drivers watching who are either in the middle of taking part in this club class, or if they're getting ready to go in the pro class, if you don't win tonight, don't worry, because Derek Bell never won at Sebring. He won pretty much everywhere else, but never won at Sebring. Can you believe that?
How on earth?
I know. And he had a good few goes at it as well, but just a little bit like Bob Wallach never won at Le Mans.
That's mad, isn't it, really? When you consider the careers that these guys had, it's mad to think that they never got a certain win at somewhere as legendary as that. Because you'd think that, with all the accolades along the way, at some point they should have, or at least you would have expected them to. But the things, I actually met, I'm not sure if I've ever told you the story, but I met Derek Bell by accident once.
You have told me the story, yes.
Yeah, I was 15 years old and still appreciated what an unbelievable human he was. At Goodwood Festival of Speed. It was mad. He was actually stood next to me for about half an hour talking to me while I explained my love of supercars and everything to him, just thinking that he was a racing enthusiast as well. And then, yeah, my dad walks over and he's like, "Oh my God, it's an honour," and shakes his hand. And I was thinking, "Who's this guy?" He goes, "This is Derek Bell." And I'd heard of him at that point, even at 15, and I nearly fell over. But yeah, unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable. But yeah, I'm thinking temperatures here. That's going to be important. As you can see, we've definitely not coloured the graphics correctly on the right hand side for it, but 21 degrees Celsius track temperature. It doesn't sound that bad, but over the course of a race, when you do heat the tyres up more and more, especially on a track like this where there's a lot of tyre slip and there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of wheel spin out of a lot of these corners, especially in this car with no traction control, you really do over-rotate the rear tyres on the back of it, and it just heats them up so much over a race that they're quite hard to look after, aren't they?
They are, yeah. It's because they're Michelins. Obviously, if you went with Pirelli, the official tyre of the Porsche Club of Great Britain, you wouldn't have such a problem. They'd last forever. I think if any drivers who have ditched the tyres that they've got out the factory and went to their local Pirelli Performance Centre and got a set of bespoke tyres, then that wouldn't be the case. But yes, you're right. Of course, it's the old adage, isn't it? The 911, slow in, fast out, use that rear engine layout to the advantage and get the drive out of the corners as well. In fact, while we're in warm-up, I do have time for a very quick Sebring and Michelin story. It was at the start of the 2007 Sebring 12 Hours, and Penske were running the Porsche RS Spyders LMP2 cars, but they actually had a chance to win outright and beat the diesel Audis, the LMP1s. And the Porsche Spyder, had a specific Michelin tyre made for it, and also the team had a dedicated Michelin technician who was assigned to their car. And the grid's completely full with people. There's big atmosphere. Sebring 12 Hours about to begin. And Roger Penske, the team owner, who's a billionaire, he's got his fire suit on and he's, as usual, right in involved with everything. He wants to give the tyre pressures as one last check. And he says, and he's looking around and he sees a mechanic sort of hanging around, not doing anything. He goes, "You!" And he goes, "Oh, yes, Mr. Penske." He says, "You, where's the Michelin man?" And the guy goes,
Oh, no.
And he points behind Roger Penske. He goes, look, there he is. And Roger Penske turns around and here's Mr. Babendam getting his picture taken with everybody.
Oh, no.
With the Michelin man suit on. And Roger Penske turns around and goes, "Not that Michelin man." I think I may have pooed myself if I was that mechanic.
Oh, indeed. You would have needed the services of whoever did the back of the livery on the car in the Pro Class that I can't remember the name of.
Yeah,
But Jamie Ward then, moving on pole position ahead of David Patching with Ralph Meyer and Andrew Shepherd on row 2. Then it's Gregory Butterworth, Michael Rowe, Ryan Penny, Peter Brill, Spencer Ayres and Andrew Soper rounding out your 10. And as usual, everybody, we are just going to leave it there for this grid because they are already all lined up. So, Peter, very quickly, any picks for this one as these guys make their way through?
Oh, Carl Hazelton, of course.
There he is. Our Carl. I actually saw the picture that he shared of his real car in that livery over the weekend. And I
honestly thought it was a 917 going past, but it was just a Boxster with Carl driving it.
It just looked amazing. Absolutely amazing. Either way, round 8 of the Porsche Club GB Sim Racing Championship here on Simracersworld TV is underway. David Patching turns off the invisibility cloak and gets through. Side by side down to turn 1. Now look at that. Ralph Meyer looking down the inside. Oh, there's big contact between Butterworth and who was that in there? Spencer Ayres. Somehow they've managed to filter their way through. Was there more contact? Yes, there are cars off on the exit. Peter Brill's involved. Andrew Soper. Michael Rowe. It was all just a bit messy from Greg Butterworth. He just closed it to the wall. We'll have to have a look back in a little bit, but it's a bit unnecessary that early on, but these guys are going to fight for every tooth and nail, if that makes sense. They're going to fight tooth and nail. But look at this. João Estevez, 12 places gained in 3 corners.
Yeah, and certainly a dark horse potentially for the race win here. Now, Andrew Shepherd and Oliver Carwadine, who both had problems of their own in race 1, they've got a lot of pace and they've got away clean here. As well, so they're well in with a shout as well. And don't count out Jared Coleman as well. And now there's someone you don't see very often. Angus Archer and Andy Marston both off the circuit at the hairpin.
Oh no!
I don't know now. Andy, oh dear, and Paul. Oh dear. Oh too much sauce.
Yep. David Patching. Well, he's going to be patching up the front end by the look of it after that.
Hey.
Carl Hazelton.
Good luck with that one. That's a good one.
Carl Hazelton. Well, look at that. What do you expect? He's let the sandbags off. He's gained 12 places in 1 lap. He is absolutely on it now. Watch this. He's going to go win this race. Amrit Sachdev has gained 11. See, not as good as Carl. With João Estevez also gaining 11. Oh, we're joking, boys. To be fair, Luke Holroyd has gained 12 spots as well, so he's actually ahead of Tom Slater as there's cars around in front of him. Amrit Sachdev, one of them. Oh, there's a big hit there. Oh, and actually, Luke Holroyd gets caught up in it. Look at that. They're all moving around. Danny Jones, contact. Oh, and more contact with Ryan Penny. There's a big pile-up. Big pile-up. They're all in the wall. They need to stay out of the way. That's the 72. Well, clearly Danny not very happy with Andrew Soper there.
Can you imagine the queue outside the Bernie bus for getting their punishment?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Now, Heinz Meyer is...
He is mired.
Yeah, he's committed. I'll give him that. Because he knows that it's probably quicker to drive that back to the pits than get a tow. But let's try, and I say try very loosely, let's try and figure out
That car is a crock of... Oh, Sashdev spins, as does Coleman. Oh, oh dear. As you see, Hamrick just tries to get going in a bit of a hurry there as well, and just clips Luke Holroyd. I think he got away relatively clean, but of course Danny Jones didn't. So Danny Jones and Angus Archer, remember, coming into this round right at the front of the championship with Luke Holroyd. So Holroyd looking very, very good here so far at Sebring.
Yeah, it was all a bit messy. When they get going again, you know, there's lots of different lines. Oh, there's big contact between Soper and Penny, and then, he just nails across into Meyer.
You're not a bad dab hand at flying a helicopter, Chaz.
I'll tell you what, it's harder than it looks in simulators as well. But this is intriguing. Now, Luke Holroyd is right with Tom Slater on track. 16 places gained for Holroyd, 14 for Slater. They're inside the top 10 already. That's loads of points on the board anyway. Ralph Meyer is trying to avenge his little brother's accident there, with Carl Hazelton in second now. He's really flying, as expected. Shepherd is third.
Look at that, right on the limit of adhesion.
He's going to hate us by the end of this. Whoa! Who on earth was that? Elvin?
Yep. Quite far forward, and it looked like he came into the path of another driver slightly. I don't know if anyone clipped him, but 29 of Mark Elvin. Oh, theory mate. See, get yourself a set of Pirellis, PCGB discount and everything. Oh dear. Pirelli would have dug in there. Oh, if they all get by, just.
I don't know how Amric missed him. I have no idea how Amric missed him, mate. Let's go on board.
We've got Pirellis on, that's fine.
You don't learn that on the golf course, do you?
Cold as ice.
Well, I suppose, actually, it was a 360 that he was witnessing, and he's got that on the car. He's actually done the fastest lap of the race on his way past that, as well as Amric Sashdev, so fair play, sunshine. He's got Coca-Cola in front of him. Looks down there. Oh, no. And what a save, though, by Jamie Ward. Fair play, mate. Big save by Jamie. He won't be too impressed with that, but yeah, that was...
He will not be sharing a Coke with Amric Sashdev.
No, definitely not. Definitely not, and I'm not sure if he is an Aston Villa fan or not, but Jared Coleman doesn't care. He's looking down the inside. No, but look at that. Tom Slater down the inside of Holroyd. That doesn't work either. But that's the thing into that hairpin. You've got to try it, haven't you? You have to at least put your nose down the inside and try and force the other driver into an error.
Oof, well, I thought Angus Archer was just going to get it on the brakes there, but no. Mark Rowe shutting the door there. So this is important, an important race from here on out for Angus Archer. Doesn't look. Oh no, Jamie Ward's off. Oh dearie me.
Has he done this on his own on the throttle?
Oh, Cunningham. Oh.
It was a very, very slow rotation, wasn't it? Well, that's the thing with this car. It does just break away, and it's very hard to save. He's just outside the top 10 in 11th place.
Mind you, see at Sebring, if you're going to crash anywhere, that's a good place to crash because the party... Whoa! Not there!
Oh, no!
The party's there. Oh, dear. No, if you, like I said, if you wanted to crash anywhere, exactly where his last crash was there, Jamie Ward, perfect place to go for a party. Apparently it's legendary at that part of the circuit.
Well, if I ever end up there, I'll have to let you know. But based on recent travels that Chaz has had, I don't want to be going anywhere. Carl Hazelton, though, he wants to be going somewhere, and that is away from Andrew Shepherd. But Andrew's caught up to him very, very quickly. Carl obviously just using half throttle at the moment down the straight. He's actually... See, that's how much of a wonderful gentleman Carl is. He says, you know what? I don't even want to win. You just go through, Andrew. You go through. But Shepherd round the outside into turn 1. Slater and Holroyd side by side, but in an unconventional fashion there as Tom Slater goes way out wide. It's like his tyres are made of slate. As down the inside goes Paul Stout. And Paul is actually... Oh! Door to door. Very door to door there, but...
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
Because it just sort of wiggles back and forth, and you kind of bottleneck together. It's... yeah, it's like those you know what? God knows who thought it was a good idea. The McDonald's drive-through now, where it's got 2 lanes that goes into one.
Oh,
I mean,
I
who
know.
thought about that? And then you go, do I be polite? And I have to be polite. I'm going after you, and of course, do you get thanks? No, of course you don't.
And then you get the sort of cretins that sit 5 car lengths back from the car in front of them. What does that accomplish?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there is no other word. I'm sorry, everybody, if that is.
We have to study that at length. We need to sit in the car park with of your ex-police sleeper mobile. And we'll sit there and pretend. Oh, we can wear plain black T-shirts and pretend we're undercover cops.
I've got some black body warmers we can put over white shirts. Get some of them fake LEDs in the grill and we'll be sound. But honestly, I'm sorry if that was a strong word, everybody, but there is no other word for it. It's not classed as a swear word, but they are cretins. Utter cretins. It boils my urine. Michael Rowe, well, he's going to have boiled urine because he's going to be very angry about going off there. I mean, boiled urine's the same as Valvoline, isn't it? Let's face it.
That car's on death row.
Manages to rotate it back around. We're back, ladies and gents. Let's have a look what happened to Michael, though. He won't want to watch this back. So, Michael, we'll tell you when to come back in. It's just going to... How many times have you done that? Because
300 or 400 times.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I do that once a lap, I think, round here.
There's guys that do that in the top split. Guys that do this for a living, literally.
Yeah, indeed. Actually, you've got a very good point. Now, Shepherd's delight at the minute because he's second, 2 places gained, and he's got Ralph Meyer right in front of him. So, potential for a win here for Andrew Shepherd. He's definitely got the pace to do it, but Ralph's held on well at the front, you know. I mean, we do mention it a lot that, you know, before, when you get reverse grids, you do see drivers at the front, you know, they don't qualify at the front. They usually do drop down quite a lot, but, you know, we've seen some very strong performances this season from the guys at the front who've managed to have the composition in themselves to just hold it up there, you know. A lot of the time, I think they don't get the chance to shine because they're getting caught up in other incidents and some of the melee in the middle, but this has been strong stuff from Ralph.
Here goes Shepherd.
Yep.
Oh, tell you what, Meyer left the door open. I tell you what, that's super fair there from Meyer. He could have snipped the nose off early, but just left it to the very last moment. He's going, you having it? You having it? No. Okay then. Slam the door.
Or left the gate open, you could say, with it being Shepherd behind him. But,
yeah. You let my sheep out.
with your accent, that sounds even better. Well, Gilles off to do some gardening on the grass, and that looks to me he's either had some help there or just lit it up. Oh, I didn't see the damage on the front right. Oh, just on the downshift. Back end breaks away. Oh, and he did get some help rotating back the other way there from patching. We've got Hazelton still third, 13 places gained in this race. Luke Holroyd has gained 19.
And also, the one thing we must add... Whoa! Paul Stout's off. The one thing we must add is that these 911 GT3 Cup cars have 485 horsepower, 3.8 litre flat 6 engines, whereas Carl Hazelton is actually running a 2-litre Cayman motor to give everyone else a chance.
I thought you were going to say he was running a PD 130. It's got a Skoda diesel engine in it.
That would be an advantage.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, the amount of
Engine
torque.
of the gods.
Yeah, it sounded like a B17 taking off. We've got Andrew Shepherd then still looking down the inside of Ralph Meyer. This has been a fantastic battle so far. Wonderful respect from the two of them. Still side by side, but just getting in front now is Shepherd. But now you've got Hazelton and Sashdev in there as well. Sashdev actually looks down the inside. Great stuff from Amrik there. Fantastic opportunism. You had Carl Hazelton just getting held up a little bit. Amrik nips down the inside and goes through. Is he going to try the same on Ralph? He isn't. We've also got Paul Goffin in there. Now this is turned into a... Oh no! As Ralph's around! And look at that, Sashdev. Thank you very much, he says. See you in a bit, but no, what happened to Ralph there?
Oh, it looks like he's maybe done this on his...
Oh!
My word.
So Shepherd was around. Ralph collects him. Oh.
Well, I know we've been likened to the Chuckle Brothers, Chaz, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to plagiarise one of their sayings. Oh dear, oh dear.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah.
I think Bernie will be warming up his cane right now after that one.
Not his Cayman.
No, he's got a 911. It's got the wrong gearbox in it, but he does have a 911.
Paddles.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, Ralph's had another issue. I'm wondering whether the car's damaged in the right rear or something there.
Gutted for Ralph Meyer. I mean, what could he have done there?
Yeah, that's the thing. You've got a car stopping in front of you. Oh, this is one of the worst situations damage-wise, you see, because it's the front left and the right rear. So it's opposite corners. So the car will be just like a pendulum one way then the other in terms of the weight transfer. That'll feel absolutely horrible. What will also feel horrible for Sashdev is the fact that he's not shaken Shepherd at the minute, although he's gone very deep. Oh, he's around!
Oh.
Oh, that scared me.
Dearie me, someone needs to give Andrew Shepherd a guide right now.
Oh, just about touches
Flocking back onto the racing line.
Well, that's a real shame as well, because he was going so well in that race. But still 7 minutes left to go, or just under. So it could all change, but look at this. Luke Holroyd up to 3rd place, Tom Slater up to 5th, 22 and 19 positions gained respectively between the pair of them, and Paul Goffin in the middle there, he's gained 11 as well, Peter. It's been awesome to watch.
Well, these are the guys who have been avoiding the grenades being thrown at them every 3 corners. You know, I like, what did we say before? Just got to really be super careful, really back the pace off in the race number 2 and be ready for an incident like this. Oh my goodness me! Oh dear! Goffin barges by and Slater says thank you very much. Martini sits on the bar beside Jameson.
Flipping heck. I don't know how long you've been preparing that one, but that felt beautiful. That was just real opportunism there from the pair of them. Luke Holroyd will be absolutely gutted about that. Now Jared Coleman has got Shepherd right behind him as well. Those two are having a fight. Paul Stout has just been overtaken by Angus Archer. Oh, well, never mind. Angus has gone straight on. That's easy to do, though. Again, it's that right-hander, isn't it? I mean, we've seen it so many times where you just want to brake as late as you dare there, and it is one of those corners that really invites you in, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Cunningham Corner, named after Briggs Cunningham, who used to go and race against the Bentley boys at Le Mans before World War II broke out, and actually was involved in bringing the first Works Jaguars to Sebring.
The things you know, Peter, honestly.
All pointless nonsense.
No, I honestly envy it so much, because for someone that's a motorsport commentator, I know absolutely nothing. But Luke Holroyd is now thinking, right, that didn't go to plan. How do you come back from this? Because it's easy when you've had a moment like that to drive angry with the red mist, overdo it and make another mistake. But at this point, Luke just needs to assess the options. Just check what Paul's pace is like, because Paul's obviously doing pretty well. 11 places gained in this race, so he's got the pace to move forward. He's kept his head on. He's got a clean car. So Luke just needs to see that as a positive, that they could potentially work together and keep the pace up here. But on the other side, he's got Tom Slater 2 cars in front of him, starting to gradually break away in a podium position. Championship-wise, it's not what not what Luke wants. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a difficult decision that the driver alone has to make, because at the moment, Luke, as Andrew Shepherd's off the circuit again. Goodness me. Have a few more fruit polos. Keep the sugar levels up. For Luke Holroyd, he is in a pretty strong position. Danny Jones is obviously under whoop in 15th, and what's happened to Carl Hazelton? Who's throwing someone on the track? That is a part beside the party part, though. So maybe there's some funny business going on there. Look at this, right in the racing line, up on the curb. Oh dear.
I think actually as well, it was a separate moment there by
He was
Goffin.
distracted by an attractive lady at the fence saying, "Go Carl, you're my favourite."
That's exactly what happened, everybody.
He can't switch it off.
We don't have a replay of it because it's not broadcastable. Now, Amrit Sashdev is doing a wonderful job out front. Now, Peter picked him to win race 1, but at the moment, you know what? I'm not going to say it. Amrit Sashdev leads the race. That's the fact of what's going on right now. He's gained 19 places. Tom Slater and Luke Holroyd have gained 22 each. which is just amazing. Oh, Ralph Meyer is dropping places. I think he might have had a slowdown or something just in front of him. Paul Stout and Oliver Carradine side by side into Sunset Bend. Nice.
Tell you what, that must be so painful there for poor old Ralph Meyer, because he was leading really well, and then when you're taken out by something that's completely you're absolutely powerless to stop it, and then you've got to limp a broken car around for the last 5 minutes. It's agony.
Yeah, definitely. That's the thing when you are just watching people go by, especially on a track like this that has so many fast straights as well. You know, there's a lot of it, as we see here, where you can slipstream. Ryan Penny goes down the inside of Mark Elvin. Mark's not making it easy for him, though. Whoa, very close stuff between the two of them. You've got to love that. Penny moves back over to the right and down the inside into turn 2. Nice stuff from Ryan Penny, nice and composed. Elvin looks back down the inside, though. He's got confidence on those Michelins. But, oh, never mind. I know that they often do get used as rally tyres, but, yeah, not quite applicable on the Porsche.
Pirelli wouldn't let go on you like that. That's not what you want. When you've got the family out and you're doing on the school run, do you want that? No. Get a set of Pirellis from your local Pirelli Performance Centre and take advantage of a PCGB discount, probably.
And make sure that you get there on time with an Omologato watch.
Yes, absolutely. And while you're at it, you might as well get a fill of Petro Canada Performance lubricant.
Yes, indeed. The car, by the way. Amrik Sashdev still leading.
Oh, and have a cup of sacred coffee while you're on your way.
Oh, yeah. That's what... Yeah. Fill the car with the... Yeah.
Oil. The Petro Canada lubricant.
Yeah, don't fill the car with coffee. It doesn't go well. Right then. Ralph Meyer has lost more positions. Ryan Parkin says that there's discount on all of it.
Sorry, I get a little bit excited when I hear the word discount. I'm Scottish after all.
Yeah, I suppose.
Ooh, look at that lap from Tom Slater.
That is the corker, real corker, 2:05.2. That was 1.3 seconds quicker than Amrik Sashdev last time round. This is the last lap of the race. Luke Holroyd's flashing the lights. It's effectively DRS in this car. But this is awesome stuff from Tom Slater. And to be fair, he needs this after that first race. You know, he did have the pace, but he made that silly little mistake, which, you know, he can be forgiven for. But now he's really reeling in. Amrik Sashdev, just similar to what we saw with Stuart Clark and Dan Bathy at Alton Park last season. I just don't think it's going to be enough for him. There's not long enough left in the race, and Shepherd's off again, man.
Goodness me, it's all kind of gone to pot here. He's bound to be nursing a pretty damaged car, will Andrew Shepherd, but a story of what maybe could have been for the 76 car. What a pity. But yes, I think you're right, Chaz. I think Amrik Sashdev is in the spot to just about half a lap to go now. Has a good couple of seconds of advantage there, so it's got to hit his marks. I'm sure this is as to use a golfing analogy, this is like coming into the final 3 or 4 holes. You've got a really good score going, and you're thinking, please don't put it over the fence, please don't put it over the fence, please don't chunk it. And what do? Well, but you just got to try and put it out your mind and just hit your marks.
Yes, indeed. And Amrik has done just that so far this race. He's only got one more corner to go. It's a shame that corner is Sunset Bend, one of the most notorious corners in the world. But either way, it's been a strong performance so far. 19 places gained. There's Luke using the DRS again in the background. The 19 spots gained has been absolutely awesome for Amrik Sashdev. Takes it nice and easy round the final corner. And round 8 in the club class of the Porsche Club GB Sim Racing Championship goes to Amrik Sashdev. Great drive. Slater second with Holroyd third. Awesome night for both of those guys. Paul Goff in 4th. And Jared Coleman, well, Aston Villa in 5th place. I'd get a nosebleed, but tell you what, Jared Coleman will be very pleased with that. And João Estevez again, 15 spots in that one, Peter. He's on an absolute fire tonight. He'll be really pleased.
2 really strong finishes for João. Yeah, indeed. And even despite all those problems, probably showing you just how much pace Andrew Shepherd had, even with all those crashes, still 10th.
He clearly just wants to get out of the car ASAP. Most of
yeah,
them do.
we've all been there. You just want to, you nearly put your the escape key through the keyboard. We've all been there, haven't you? You press it so hard, you go, oh, I'm so angry.
Oh, indeed, yeah. And then you put the VR headset through the wall. But either way, Amrit Sashdev doing some 360s.
Oh, like that. Get that on the company Christmas card. Yes.
Yes. Love that. He'll be very, very pleased with that one. Well done to Amrit Sashdev. As the rest of the field is still finishing the race, we have Jamie Ward just crossing the line. There he is. And Gregory Butterworth is still most of the way around a lap, but he'll get some airtime. Get it? With all the clouds on the car while he completes his lap. It's been a tough season for Gregory, but we've seen a number of drivers perform in the first few seasons similar to what Gregory has. You know, they're drivers that are still learning the car, getting used to the limits, and, you know, give it a bit of time, and, you know, Gregory will be absolutely on it, as the rest of them are.
Indeed, and trust me, there are real-world racing drivers who really take time to get their head around this car. I would actually put my neck out and say it's probably the hardest car to master on the entire iRacing service. I mean, you'd be easier to get your head around the 919 hybrid, which has 1,000 horsepower, but it also has four-wheel drive and all of the electric gubbins to keep you out of trouble. So this car, you're absolutely on your own. So yeah, shouldn't be disheartened, and use the benefits of the great community that we have to build up the pace.
Yes, indeed. He'll be very, very pleased with at least his progress so far, and that's the thing. As long as that progress continues, then there's nothing wrong. There is your result from the feature race, everybody. Amrit Sashdev taking the win ahead of Tom Slater and Luke Holroyd, Paul Goffin and Jared Coleman, round 85. So then João Estevez, Carl Hazelton, Oliver Carwadine, Paul Stout and Andrew Shepherd, rounding out your top 10. We'll very quickly go through the rest of them on the screen, but we do have to quickly jump off just to make sure that we get into the session for the Pro class, which is bound to be exciting around here as well. And we'll have to see what these guys can manage as well. But if you join Peter and I in, give us about 5-10 minutes, I'd say. It's not usually that long until we get in, but we won't be too long, and we'll be back with you on Simracersworld TV for the Porsche Club GB Sim Racing Championship Pro class. We'll see you in a few.
Black and white. It's black and white.
Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott and Peter MacKay here on Simracersworld TV at Sebring International Raceway for rounds 7 and 8 of the Porsche Club Great Britain Sim Racing Championship. Rounds 7 and 8 are, well, not even the halfway point of this wonderful season, Peter. We've had great action as ever in the club class again. Pro class is going to be unbelievable around here. This is going to be a dream for you, if anything.
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah, of course. This is a circuit which has got so much intertwined with Porsche. Of course, the new iteration of this Porsche 911 Cup car, the 992, a very different beast indeed, made its debut here at Sebring a few weeks ago, and Sebastian Prio actually taking the first victory as well. So it's with Kai van Berlo winning the second. So I think there's going to be a great rivalry between those two over the course of the season. But Porsche, the most successful manufacturer here, 18 outright wins and 100 class wins at the 12 Hours of Sebring.
Flipping heck. It's a hell of a number, and it's, to be fair, it's justified, isn't it? You know, we all know how good they are. So at the end of the day, it's a wonderful achievement and big numbers. And the thing is, when you go up against a brand and you have the sort of figures to show for it, it must be really nerve-wracking to go up against some of these big brands and, you know, big organisations and teams. I just don't know how, you know, to have the money and the confidence and the risk in your head to go and do that. It's the epitome of what makes racing teams and drivers such amazing groups of people, isn't it? Because they have such faith and belief. I just love it. You know, it's great to see it because, again, when things don't go right, you just get more drama added in, don't you, with all of that?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, and also there's so much money at stake, isn't there? No matter what way you do it, where it comes from, where it comes out of a private person's pocket or a manufacturer's budget, there's got to be you want to get your value for whatever it is that you're doing. And the one thing I would say the two key things that Porsche have done at this particular racetrack, and obviously 12 Hours of Sebring, which will celebrate its 70th anniversary next year, is that they've been here since 1954 and have been every single year since, but not necessarily as a factory effort. The key thing is there has always been customer teams who have bought Porsches and taken them here to race at Sebring, and a lot of those teams are given support from Porsche that they wouldn't otherwise get from other manufacturers.
Yeah, you're right, and it's having that customer base as well that sort of in turn helps their own effort. You know, it funds a lot of their own sort of factory teams and so on. You know, it's all going to the same brand essentially. So it's I always enjoy seeing like customer racing teams. You know, to just to see what they do with the same hardware. You know, sometimes you get these great battles between customer teams and manufacturer teams, and it's great that that's allowed, you know, because you could expect manufacturers to say, oh, you know, we don't want anyone else running the same cars as us. You know, they could kill the competition dead, but they have more of their cars on track, more potential for that brand to win, so why wouldn't they? Now, someone I want to go on board with, and it's not for the reason that Peter is going to think that this is Jacob Tofts, because he is the highest placed driver in the championship that is racing this evening, because Mr. Dorrington, our championship leader, is not here.
Wonder why?
Yeah, he's got a big points gap as Dorrington. He's got 117 points at the minute. Jacob Tofts has 95, so it's still all to play for. But yeah, I think Tofts needs to make the most out of this evening, doesn't he? Really.
Now, I'm not having this, Chaz. If you take a look in our YouTube comments on Simracersworld TV, Luke Colruyt of Porsche Sport is saying that you smell. I'm not having that. I'm not having my broadcast partner slandered by a man with a man bun.
I could just mute him. Oh,
but block him.
Yeah, I could just mute him on the Simracersworld TV channel. Oh, Stephen Kershaw's been off the circuit. Having a little bit of a moment there, but comes back on. Easy to do it around there, though. It's a very long sort of triple apex left, isn't it? And if you touch the curb or go over the bump in a slightly wrong angle by a few millimetres, a car like this is going to punish you massively around there, isn't it?
It will, yeah, of course. That's when it gets really bumpy, and you're trying to get the car to change direction as well. It's not particularly straightforward. Gavin Hall's now. Gavin Hall's. It's brought me to mind. I've been again furnished with some fantastic top secret information from well inside the paddock, and it's been left at undisclosed locations in dead drops with secret coding. So thank you so much for doing that for me, Gavin Halls. He also says Matt can't make it tonight. Yep, got that.
Oh, Kershaw has disappeared.
Oh,
hello. I don't know what that is, but either way, he was back. It's fine. This is Paul Rieger, who really didn't get a lot of airtime last time out, and I don't know why, because we love Paul, and he does an absolutely wonderful job every single time he's out on track. He's always exciting to watch, and it's great to have him in the championship again this season. But I miss the old livery. I won't lie. No offence, Porsche Sport. I love that livery. But I really...
Good take, Chaz. You get him back. Go on.
I do miss Paul's white and blue livery that he had, because it was such a gorgeous-looking car, wasn't it? It was just one of the most striking liveries on the grid. You could always tell it was him from distance, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could, and you could also tell him. He didn't get the name Paul Anchors Riga for nothing. Still remember that move down the hill into the Hislop chicane at Oulton Park. I'm going, he's not coming from there. I was like, oh well, here comes a plane crash, and he pulled it off. I was like, how's he done that?
I really don't know how they managed to have such commitment on the brakes, especially in this car as well, because that's the thing. In a car like this, to be able to push the braking to the limit like that and really test your ability and test just your commitment is just mad. You know, the talent that they can just possess in moving your right foot. It sounds daft to get so obsessed over it, but to see someone that is good on the brakes is just so exciting. Baxter Jones goes top at the moment. Has Paul taken his Riga 3 tab? Comes with his own sponsor, Riga Supplements. Interesting. Riga 3 tablets, Ryan Parkins is saying. Jacob Tofts goes fastest by a second. More than a second.
Oh, my.
Oh, good Lord. Well, intentions have been... Oh, there you go. Simon Povey, who has again been very exciting this season in that wonderful pink machine. Only just under 0.2 slower. So we could have a real ding-dong between these pair again.
I think we could call this car Parker. Because isn't Parker? Who does Parker drive around in Thunderbird?
Lady Penelope.
Lady Penelope, that's right. Or we could call the car Lady Penelope. Parker or Lady Penelope? What do you prefer?
I don't know. It depends if Simon wants to tell his wife that he spent the evening inside Lady Penelope.
Oh.
I think.
Oh my!
To be fair, saying Parker wouldn't be much better. Sorry, Ian, that one's been demonetised as well. Jacob.
Oh, we'll have the North Koreans on again.
Oh my God! Right, Stephen Harpham's got his move on. He's got his go fastest
banned in North Korea.
He's got. Oh, Stephen Harpham, third place at the moment. As Ben Simpson's gone off the circuit. That's not going to help his session because that's going to invalidate. I think they only get 2 laps. Oh God, that's wow. Well, that's not even worth fishing for. It's crabbing that much. That has properly gone. I'm intrigued whether Tofts is going to go even quicker, because he's the sort of guy that does that, isn't he? He puts a rapid time. Look how close he got to the grass there. He puts a rapid
Imagine how
time
quick
in.
he could... Oh, mistake.
Way too deep.
Imagine how quick he could be going without that stupid 116 on the car.
The extra number in the extra vinyl in that extra number weighing him down. I think he actually made a bit of a mess part way round that lap. Well, I say that.
Get a 6 on instead, just 6. That'll do.
Yeah. He was only half a second down on that lap anyway, and I think to me, it seemed like, oh no, that's a 1x, that's an incident point, and he has messed up the lap. Povey goes a few thousandths quicker. Stephen Harpham, third at the moment.
Povey will get one more.
I think the Porsche Sport saying is Harpham new to the series, and Gavin Hall saying there's a grid error. I'm not.
What sort of steel has he been smoking in the garage tonight?
Yeah, I'm really not sure. I think are we missing something that these guys have seen that we haven't? I mean, that's what the phrase "missing something" means, Chaz. You don't have to explain it, but yeah, I'm not sure. To me, that looks all right. Oh, he's retracted it now. He's just messing with us. he's just having us off. There's Simon Povey then. Lady Penelope flying. We will have to call the car Penelope.
Yeah, Lady Penelope it is.
Yeah, it is indeed. It just looks great. That shade of pink, that sort of hot pink, looks really good on that car, especially with the sort of satin finish as well. Very nice indeed.
Sponsored by Tillet Seats as well. God, I hope he's got some padding on it, and if he's got one of those in his sim. Have you ever sat in a Tillet seat before?
I don't recall sitting in one. No.
Imagine. Remember when you go to the supermarket with your mum when you're younger, and you would sit down for a very brief moment in the shopping trolley, and you would very quickly get up again because sitting down is not very comfortable. No. Tillet seat is way worse than that. It's just a piece of carbon fiber.
It's like putting your backside through one of those things that slices eggs.
It's like when you unnecessarily skimp on toilet roll. I tell you what, actually, and I know going into toilet humour is not really what we do here on Simracersworld TV. No,
but I squealed like a pig earlier this morning because I sat down very quickly on the toilet and the toilet seat shifted left slightly and pulled about 8 hairs out of my leg. And honestly, I've not had it happen for a very long time, but I made a noise that I would never hope to make again. But I can assure you that it was all a hilarious noise. But yeah, it trapped the hairs under my thigh and pulled them out, and yeah, I nearly hit the roof and took the extractor fan out with it. But Chris Byram, there he is, Akabusi, as he goes through the hairpin. I love that livery.
Motivator.
It's just great, isn't it? I mean, well, not that we can see it from this camera because it's in the next state of America. But there it is, with the Visaro branding as well. Cuda E Motorsports. It does look.
Didn't Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or certainly Fresh Prince of Bel-Air definitely wore those sorts of clothes.
He probably did. Or Jazzy Jeff.
Then at Sebring, where I spent most of my days.
Oh, flipping heck. Well, one day we're going to get monetized. Anyway, we have a grid. Jacob Toft's on pole position from Simon Povey. Christian Saruta, 3rd place. Good stuff for him. Greater X 4th, ahead of Harpham, Baxter Jones, Tall, Cummings, Riga, and Bathy. Rounding out your top 10. Again, we do have to go through this very quickly. These guys, honestly, they love the fact that they can just get on the grid and crack on with it, so we have to try and keep up with them. And Boy Brilliant says, did you really make that inside Lady Penelope joke and retain your broadcasting license? Well, yeah. Either way, we'll see. But it's a lot of fun.
We're not here for a long time, we're here for a good time.
Yes, very true. But welcome to the show, Boy Brilliant. We really do hope you enjoy yourself. Please don't consider, if you ever have any influence on my career, please don't ever consider that as my professional work that I do in the real world. I'm much more professional than that, and I called a driver by a wrong name on the weekend and basically joked about the fact that he wanted to drive off the circuit. But either way, Jacob Toft won't want to drive off the circuit, but he'll certainly want to drive off the line very, very quickly using the launch control in this car. It was messed with recently by iRacing. It was tinkered with, so the launches are very different in this car now, and the drivers have had to get used to that. So there's definitely been a change in who is good and who is not so good at doing that. But there is Simon Povey in the number 3, lining up alongside him for what's bound to be a fantastic in the Brawn GP liveried machine just behind as well. But in the pro class for the Porsche Club of Great Britain Sim Racing Championship, we're underway. And off the line we go. Cracking start by the guys. Really good start for Zaruta down the inside of Povey. Povey goes nowhere though. He's down to 4th place already. I understand we had a bit of an issue there with frame rate drop, everybody. We will be back on it. Dan Bathy's just had a moment. He's gone off. Paul Rieger's around, and Gary Tall as well, Peter.
Oh, well, Gary Tall and Paul Riga, I don't know how they ended up wide at turn 1 because they were as far to the inside as you could possibly go. So maybe they tangled with one another. Whoa, Gary Tall actually spinning. Oh, and Dan Barry smacks on the way through. Goodness me.
Big hit.
Oh, that's, of course, it's so blind going into turn 1. If someone spins in front of you, you've just got nowhere to go.
And again, much like Sunset Bend, it's the corner of 1,000 lines, isn't it? You know, you can go very wide on the way in, cut to the inside and then back to the outside on the exit, or you can hug the inside line and get near the wall all the way around the corner and then run out wide. But yeah, you do often see a lot of overlaps and incidents there. Apologies for the drop in frame rate there, guys. I'm really not sure what happened with that one. My internet's been very stable in comparison to how it used to be in recent times, but every so often we do have a blip, so apologies. It is just technology doing its thing. But for the second time tonight, we have a Porsche Sport car at the front. It's not the number that Peter would want to see at the front, but either way, Jacob Tofts making the most of this opportunity to gain lots of points in the championship on Matt Dorrington. I
make it clear that I'm very happy for Jacob. I'm just not happy to see the number at the front.
Yeah.
And what it stands for. Homologation specials.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, I'll put that on Twitter for him. Earl says, I only came here for Peter's dulcet tones. Well, thank you very much. But
not very nice. Who are you, Chaz?
Simon Povey, car 3, P3 at the moment. He won't want that to last, I can tell you that much for free. Here's Ben Simpson and Stuart Clark. Hopefully they don't make contact and have to go back to the drawing board. But Stuart Clark of the course in the drawing board machine down the inside of Ben Simpson's Martini branded car. Ben Simpson has actually tied biggest mover in the field so far. 7 places gained. That's going to be 8 now as Matt Camilio, nothing too hidden and camouflaged about that, I'm afraid. Spins it round, nicely parked to the service road, and off he goes. But it was actually tied between Ben Simpson and this man, Stephen Kershaw, who is on fire at the moment, you could say. Really.
Stephen Kershaw's on fire, fire. Rocket Man.
No, that would be, where's Chris Bowie? Here he is, Starman. Car 71.
I love this, in the rural in-law. There's urban outlaw and there's rural. Brilliant, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
God. Porsche Sport said we came to hear Chaz talking French. Now, I don't want to go on about my weekend too much, but over the weekend I only learned a couple of phrases in French, and they were mostly me saying I can't speak French, but by saying it in French. Most of it was just "Pardon, mon français c'est terrible," which is, sorry, my French is terrible. And I think I might have pronounced it wrong and offended one of the drivers at one point, because I think what I must have said is, sorry, France is terrible.
Who are you working for?
I was only working for Renault. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure that at one point I just went up to a driver and just said, I'm sorry, France is terrible, how do I say your name? But that's just part of it. Oh my
God, you can see Jason Platel's got into coach.
Oh, flipping out. Right. Simon Povey, as you saw there, an important part of the race was missed by something terrible. Simon Povey gets up into second place. Jacob Tofts does the fastest lap of the race, so he's not waiting for anyone. 0.6 of a second quicker, but we do look back, because look at this train that we've got between these 6 here, Peter. Really good stuff. We would get a good view of it if the iRacing camera worked. There you go. And I clearly can't count.
Parker is wheeling the Lady Penelope Mobile at pace up into second. Simon Parker Povey. Good start as well for Austin Greatorex as well. Oh no!
He's been dazzled by his own livery. Chris Byram is around at turn 2. We will get there. There we go. Downshift. Off the brakes.
Just touch it. As soon as you let off that brake, it's like whoop, round you go. Now I'm not having this in the chat, Chaz. They're taking the mick out of Clio's, and I adore my Renault Sport RS200 Clio. Chassis of the gods. Not my words, the words of Evo magazine, I'll have you know.
That sounds like there was a bit in a Top Gear special or something that Jeremy Clarkson did when he's got the Cayman.
Words of autocar.
Yeah, that's just all I could think there. And it's when James May's got his Mercedes in it. Not my words, the words of Martin Brundle when he's talking about the Mercedes being the best chassis. Yeah. Oh, fantastic stuff. And he actually rings Martin. He says, "No, I never said that." Unbelievable stuff. Well, there you go. Right. Now, this train near the front is not going to stay this way, I tell you that. It is one of them beautiful liveries as well that Mark Baxter-Jones and Johnny Elia are running this season. They have different liveries for different rounds, and they just look absolutely stunning. They've got the matte finish on that car, absolutely spot on. And the colours as well, they just do it justice. It's like this beautiful, dark, sort of purpley, burgundy colour. It just looks absolutely wonderful. Really, really like that.
It looks very nice, yeah, absolutely. They're taking inspiration from the IROC series of the early 70s, where they ran Porsche, the very first Porsche Carrera RSR. I think one of the best Porsches ever made. Beautiful looking machine. Actually had its first proper... Whoa! Ben Simpson loses it. Oh dear. Hangs on to it. Pirelli wouldn't let go there. But yeah, the IROC series, they needed a car that was going to put up, it was like an all-star race of like 25 drivers from all the top motorsport categories, and they needed a car that was going to stand up to it, and really the Porsche was the only choice. So I think it was something like 20 or 25 Porsche Carrera RSRs, all run by Penske.
Wow. It's a big team effort. I've seen a lot of big teams in sim racing where they've got like 12 cars in one race, but that takes the biscuit. Here's Byron Crawford, car 12P12. Recent race winner in this championship, of course. Byron Crawford. And it was a very popular win indeed. Such a great guy. Fantastic, blinding performance all the way through. But now he's got to be careful because he's got Mark Phillips just behind him, Bernie himself, even though after the comments earlier that Peter made about the wrath of Bernie, he actually put that in the Discord chat saying, yes, the wrath of Bernie, mwah. So
he enjoys it too much.
He's clearly ready to get the cane out, as Peter said. Stephen Kershaw's...
He's got a new ointment for it. It gets extra sting.
New turtle wax black polish. He's got
Maguire's... Oh, God.
Maguire's bring out a range of cane polishes. Stephen Kershaw, your biggest mover in the field at the moment, he's absolutely caning it as well, you could say. Oh, there you go. You do say that, and he goes wide. It's Greater X and Zaruta side by side. Tries to go around the outside, does Zaruta, in the Braun GP liveried machine. Look at that. Great commitment, though, to hold it around there, but nothing doing, I'm afraid. Greater X gets in front. Matt Camilio's had another issue further back. He's stopped. So for one Braun car it goes well, for the other it doesn't. It's like Button and Barrichello. Tofts does another fastest lap of the race, 2:03.4. Simon Povey, 4/10 slower, but that is still absolutely rapid, isn't it, Peter?
Very, very, very rapid indeed. And of course, Simon Povey is going to be one of our championship contenders over the course of the season, as is Austin Greatorex. Must be something about cars with pink in them as well. Oh, never mind. That's moving on. Oh dear. Also the two scoundrels in the YouTube chat as well, changing the subject.
I know, yeah.
A PDK, I mean, wash your mouth out. I almost a little bit sick in the back of my throat there. No, it's got a proper 6-speed manual gearbox.
A proper gearbox.
A proper gearbox.
That's one thing I was quite pleased about with my BMW, actually. It's a manual. It's not...
I like that.
It's not a manual... It's not a manual. It's not an automatic 6-speed box, because all the ones that I saw for the money I got mine for are all on moon mileage and a bit more. Either that or they've been used as sort of premium taxis and been absolutely ragged everywhere. So, yeah, it's nice.
My lovely mum is picking up her new car on Tuesday, which she got from Newcastle Audi, and she phoned up to reserve it, and the guy was like, "Now you do know," he says, "I really feel I should let you know that you do know it is. You do realise it is a manual. It's not an automatic." She goes, "Yes, I know. That's what I wanted." She goes, "This is my son found it for me."
Oh, Chris Bowie. Back on. one to fifth and reverse, says Colin Wynn. No, genuinely. All six. It's a 7-speed box. Then if you're going down that. Porsche Sport saying that for the first time in history, anyone said that's what I'm really happy about with my BMW. Oh, Kershaw's around. It's not flappy paddles manual, no. It's a 2000 and... Ah! Oh my God. Gary Tall. Wow. That was a scary moment, that, for Gary Tall there. I imagine he made a different noise to what I did with some swear words in, but yeah, that was unbelievably close. But no, just being able to sit at 1,500 revs at 6th gear on a motorway or a bypass and do 60 miles to the gallon is just a wonderful thing, and it's exactly what I need this year. So, yeah, well, that's when the government isn't stopping me going to motorsport events. Thanks. Cheers.
They're spying on you like you're in North Korea.
Yeah.
That's how they got you with the Rick Astley thing.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, it was the government.
Ah, yeah. Oh, Boris. Akabusa's off again. He's had another spin down there. Again, on the brakes, potentially. Although a bit earlier on in the corner, I'm calling on the grass. Like that. There you go. It's so... again, it's so easy to do because the track naturally moves over to the right there, doesn't it? So you do put the car on the right-hand side as far as possible and then dip a wheel on, especially in this car, and you're around.
Yeah, it doesn't let you away with anything as well, and the warning is kind of futile. Well, the warning is that you're already mid-crash. There is no warning. There's no chance of response, if you like. It's a proper knife-edge car, but that's why a lot of drivers really love it, because it's a challenge and it's satisfying to get right. It's quite funny when you go from one of these cars to a GT3 machine, like a Lamborghini or a Merc or something like that. It's like driving a sofa. And it's like you're being massaged as you're driving along, going, you know what, you take this corner off. Let me take you around this corner for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, oh, good braking point there, Peter. Well done. Don't worry about that extra 50% of brake pressure you put in. Let the ABS work that out for you. Yeah. Oh, you nailed that.
And then with me, it's like, you didn't have to do 30 miles an hour around the corner, but we got round. Either way. My talents as a sim racer.
You haven't bitten to that, have you?
Sorry?
You haven't bitten to the taken manual.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Kind of. It took me a moment, but then I realised, hang on.
That's a proper 1st of April one.
Yeah, that is a proper fit. Although, now I'm going to say this, like, I know we're not really talking about this race much at the minute, but...
It's pretty steady at the moment.
Yeah. Now, have you seen the Sicily Motorsport livery reveal for the BTCC?
Car looks good. I like the look of the car.
But what do you make of the video?
Oh,
there you go. There you go. It's honestly.
You can call yourself an influencer, Chaz, because I went in with having. I saw your opinion of it before seeing it, so my mind was infiltrated by your expert analysis. But
did you agree?
I mean, poor old Adam Morgan. He's not going to be the next James Bond, is he?
No, indeed. But if you haven't seen the Sicily Motorsport...
Meanwhile, Tom Chilton's like looking at the two pit girls going, hello.
Doing a Sean Connery impression.
Hello, yes. My name's Tom Chilton. I drive a BMW.
We'll be standing in front of me on the grid this season.
Yes. This has got rear-wheel drive. It's basically an Infinity.
Imagine if saying the team now we drive a Sicily Motorsport.
BMW 3 Series for Sicily.
In the British Touring Car Championship.
We are Car Gorge.
No, that doesn't work. Car Gorge. Right. Oh. Anyway, Jacob Tofts leads the race, everybody, with just over 5 minutes to go. Gavin Hall saying the video was rubbish, but it got some views for being so rubbish. I imagine, yeah, any press is good press, people say, so often we do get that. Byron Crawford round the outside of Mark Phillips. These two still battling away. They've been going at this for quite a while now in this race, and I don't think that it's going to end any time soon, or, well, give it 5 minutes, it might do. But Byron's still holding on ahead of series director, you could call him. Oh, I shouldn't say that. He's going to go with that now. But, you know, Mark's been consistently fast in this class, hasn't he? I think it's just the result's not as good as last season because the level of competition has once again stepped up so much, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. If you look at his lap times are super, super quick. I mean, Mark would be right in there in that lead battle for the club class. But of course, as the seasons roll on, we're in season 3 right now. As the seasons roll on over the next few years, it will kind of level out. New drivers will come in, maybe 1 or 2 will drop out. Who knows? And of course, you're going to get guys that are going to promote. They're going to qualify up from the club class, and drivers are going to fall back from the pro class as well. And it'll kind of a little bit like Premier League and Division 1 or whatever football is. I don't know what it is, but yeah, whatever that is, the equivalent of that is in football. But see Brian Crawford looking up the inside here at Tower on Stuart Clark. Oh dear, bang off, Biff. Don't do it in front of Bernie, guys. Have a bit of tact. Come on.
I was going to say.
You'll be feeling the wrath of my Maguire's oil. Oh, no, stop.
He's absolutely...
Bernie's pain.
Yeah, the word was cane that was going to follow that up. Anybody that feels like they want to clip that. But, yeah, that was a little bit lively between Crawford and Stuart Clark there. But great stuff all the same. I imagine Mark was probably watching that thinking, this is great racing. Ben Phillips is there just waiting in the wings now. With that change, he's managed to catch back up.
Who's Ben Phillips?
I don't know. Ben Simpson, sorry. I've done that twice already today. I noticed I got another one wrong nearly.
At least you didn't walk up to him and say, Francis is terrible.
Yeah. I can't confirm or deny whether I did that, but I'm pretty sure at one point, because it depends how you say like français or française, because for some reason words have genders in France. But yeah, I don't know whether I got it right or wrong. We'll see.
But you were just being progressive, Chaz. Gender fluid words.
Yeah, exactly. If they don't invite me to Hockenheim in a month, then I know exactly which one I did say.
Go. If you didn't master French, you got no chance with German.
Oh no, definitely not. No. But either way, Mark Phillips is still all over the back of Byron Crawford now, and this is going to be helping Stuart Clark because he can get away from this fight. And just watch these two battle in the mirrors. Who's later on the brakes? Neither of them by the look of it. It's just Byron lets off the pressure a little bit, little pop and bang there, and a crackle on the downshift. You've got to love that. Onto the throttle again. Very fast bit of the circuit here. There's actually an amazing bit of footage, which I'm pretty sure you might have seen, Peter, of a guy in a Porsche. I think he's in one of the GT3 spec cars, maybe even GT2. And I think he's on a track day. And there's a car in front of him that brakes for that left-hander. I think it's a cup car, and it brakes for the left-hander. And he goes full lock to the right and then full lock to the left and saves it at about 45 degrees and then puts his hand up and says some very colourful things. But honestly, it's one of the greatest saves I've ever seen. That isn't, though.
Oh, Carl.
What on earth has happened to Carl Sharkey? Oh. That's a proper one.
That's a big one, yeah. And luckily, as you can see, this is the one part of the circuit where there's quite a lot of runoff. And whoa! Dearie me. That's making me feel dizzy.
I have to go further back than that. Yeah, look, the curb drags the car over to the left, clips the grass, and away it goes. That was a big, big spin for Carl Sharkey. That'll certainly wake you up. Johnny Elia has had an issue now as well.
Oh, bang.
Oh, wow. That was
I think you got hit there by Sharkey coming through. It seemed that ended awfully abruptly, but...
Ooh. Around it goes.
Oh, no, I don't like this one, but... Oh, no, just missed him.
Yeah.
Just missed it. I tell you what, that's a very, he should be doing Gymkhana. That was being able to turn the car around without coming back on the circuit. Very impressive.
Yeah, indeed. That was a lovely, lovely bit of driving. Nicely styled out. Here's Ben Phillips down the inside of Mark Simpson. Through turn 2. Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
There's the cane. He's thought, right, I saw what you...
Dictator immunity.
Yeah.
Nobody saw that? No, I didn't see that, did you? No.
Right. Who's that in the car in front?
Oh,
I don't know.
He spun on his own. What?
Oh.
I don't believe it.
Oh,
Silly Ben Simpson. Oh,
No.
mate, come on. Oh. Where'd you get that dent in the quarter panel from?
I'm going dizzy. Austin Greatorex is in third place at the moment. I'm honestly dizzy.
We are getting sacked.
Oh, Ian, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Ian.
Honestly, though, everybody, I must admit, I love doing this. And I'm sure Peter does as well. We really do hope that you enjoy the spirit of this. You know, it's a fantastic championship. We are trying to be professional, but, you know, it's all in good fun. It is all in good fun, everybody. We sincerely hope you are enjoying the show. Someone that's enjoying his own show at the front of the pack is Jacob Tofts. He's not actually cleared off from Povey, who's there you go, using DRS. He's not really left him that much. It's 2.2 seconds, but you're not really going to make that up in Sunset Bend, are you? Jacob Tofts round the final corner. Awesome drive. Yeah, he would. Jacob Tofts takes the win. He needed to do that. Great start to his evening. Simon Povey, second place. Well done to get that back. Austin Greatorex is going to round out the podium, or is he? Christian Saruta's got something to do about it. He wouldn't, but fourth place for Christian. Mark Baxter-Jones fifth, ahead of James Cummings in sixth place. He was very under the radar as well. And Stephen Harpen is going to be seventh. Who's going to be ahead out of Stuart Clark and Byron Crawford? Byron pushes to the line, but Stuart Clark holds on to ninth position. Great stuff. Really good stuff between those guys. And Phillips just beats Johnny Elia. That car looks wonderful in that colour. Really gorgeous. Really is. But, well, Pro Class didn't disappoint. You know, biggest mover in the field gained 7 spots. So, not a massive move through the field. But, you know, with the pace level that we have in this class, I mean, even compared to the club ones before, we were getting, what, 2:05.2s? And Jacob Toft's best lap in this race was a 2:03.4, and he was still doing 2:03.8s at the end of the race. It's just biblical pace, isn't it?
Extraterrestrial.
Indeed. It really was. Really smashing stuff from him. Simon Povey, though, you know, he did an awesome job of catching back up, though, because after that mistake early on...
They didn't know the checkered flag's gone out.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think it's just the fastest cool-down lap you'll see in a long time, but it was just the way that Simon Povey came back from that was just awesome. Really, really strong stuff to come through from there. And we'll do what we didn't do for the club class, so sorry, boys, but we do have the race results for the first race of the night. If you would like to do the honours, Peter.
With pleasure. Well, confirming Jacob Tofts then as your winner by 2.2 seconds from Simon Parker Povey in Lady Penelope, with Austin Greatorex getting a podium. Great drive there from Austin. Christian Saruta in fourth in the Braun GP car, with Mark Baxter-Jones continuing his really, really solid season so far. James Cummings was sixth, with Stephen Harpham in seventh. Carl Sharkey in eighth despite that spin, with Stuart Clark ninth and Byron Crawford closing out the top 10. Mark Bernie Phillips was 11th, followed by Johnny Elia, Ben Simpson, Gary Tall and Stephen Kershaw in the Rocket Man car. Chris Bowie was 16th, followed by Paul Riga, Dan Bathy, Chris Byram, Matt Camilio and Mark Johnson classified in 21st position. So 10 laps down. So I wonder, will Mark take the grid as reverse grid pole? Because by the rules, that probably wouldn't be the case, Chaz.
No, I don't think so.
No. Whoa, nearly caught it. Oh.
Christian Zaruta going around there. Big old spin. Nicely styled out at the end, though. Is he going to keep going or go back to the pits? No, he does carry on going. Let's go on board with that. Oh, there it goes. Ready? Whip. I love that. You just wait for the momentum to just come back around, and it just spins the other way so quickly, because you've got the absolute opposite effect of having the engine sort of swing all the rear weight round. It sort of becomes the centre point, and the really lightweight front end just smacks its way back into place. It's brilliant. Really do love that. But that can also be part of the frustrating thing of driving this car, can't it? That sort of slight imbalance of weight. It's got this very pointy front end, sort of heavy planted rear end, but when you get that slight imbalance in just too much of an angle when you've got a slide going on, it can really be frustrating to try and catch it.
Yeah, it certainly can. That's for sure. Amazing to think that the 911 won the Sebring 12-hour outright in road form back in 1973. Dr. Dave Helmick had bought one. He was an amateur racer, but in the days when you could drive to the circuit and race and go home again. And I bought a 911 Carrera RSR from Brumos, and Peter Gregg, the owner of Brumos, and Harley Haywood, his co-driver, they were without a car to drive in, and they knew this car was arriving imminently, and it was arriving a couple of days before Sebring, and they said, you wouldn't mind lending it to us for the Sebring 12-hour, and he says, we'll give you an hour in the car, in your car, and you can have the trophy. So David Helmick did 1 hour, and Hurley and Peter Gregg did the rest, and they won.
And there you go.
Last Brumos car not to be painted in the white, blue, and red. It was actually yellow.
Oh, any particular reason?
Because that's the order Dave Helmick had ordered it in.
Oh, I like that. I like it when it's the simple things in life like that. It's just, oh well, yellow. We'll race in it. I like that a lot. Now, Byron Crawford had quite the race last time out, and, well, when we were at Donington, he took a race win. I don't think he's going to have such a performance tonight because, obviously, he's going to be quite close to the middle of the pack for the reverse grid, but was there anybody further down? We'll get the results back up again and just have a look. So, Dan Bathy is a good shout for me from quite far down the order. Paul Rieger as well. Gary Tall, we know, is very quick. Johnny Elia. You know, the quality of this grid, though, I mean, everybody then could potentially be, well, anyone in this field could be a race winner of this second one, I think. This is going to be very hard to call, but I think based on starting order, no offence to Matt Camilio, Chris Byram or Mark Johnson, but Dan Bathy to me seems like a very strong candidate there.
Well, the only thing that might be holding Dan Bathy back a little bit is that he does have a triple screen. Well, he does have 3 screens in his sim, which is the proper pro setup, but only 2 of them are working at the moment, apparently. Which does make life pretty difficult. For maybe in that case, I would just go back to 1. But when you're used to racing with 3, you've basically got that peripheral vision. You have them wrapped around you like you would your normal vision. Like imagine if you had a motorcycle helmet on, it's kind of the same idea. And yeah, that's bound to be holding him back because you do it like your road car. You do get used to it. It becomes a second skin, or at least it should do. I mean, if it's wearing Pirelli tires, it will. That's for sure. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. But in my view, I actually think this is Jacob Toft's race to lose. But he's just got to take his time in the first couple of laps.
Yes, indeed. We'll see how he gets on. Mark Johnson then may line up on pole. We don't know. It might be Matt Camilio. But behind them will be Chris Byram, Dan Bathy, Paul Rieger, Chris Bowie, Stephen Kershaw, Gary Tall, Ben Simpson and Johnny Elia, with Mark Phillips and Byron Crawford on row 6. The rest of the field will just filter through on your screen now. Jacob Tofts, as you can see there, starting 21st on the grid. Could be 20th if Mark Johnson doesn't take to the grid. He hasn't taken to it yet. Matt Camilio, there in the Brawn GP car, had a bit of a rough ride last time out. He'll be looking for a much better race in this one. Chris Byram, Chris Akabusi lines up in 3rd, with Dan Bathy and Paul Rieger just behind. Rieger's a candidate as well, to be fair, and it looks like Johnson will not take the grid, so Camilio will be on pole for round 8 of the Porsche Club of Great Britain Sim Racing Championship, which gets underway now. Look at that launch from Camilio, seeing a bit. Phillips has had a belter of a getaway as well. A few of them really making the use of that launch control. And to be fair, it seems like something that if you get enough testing in with it and know how it works, you can have a real corker of a start. But Camilio leads the field then, with a little margin as well over Chris Byram, Paul Rieger, Dan Bathy, Stephen Kershaw, Sharkey and Clarkey side by side in the middle of the field. Clark still down the inside. Look at the respect here, giving each other plenty of room around there. Maybe a little touch, actually, just as I say that. But look behind them. 2 by 2 by 2. There you go.
Hurrah, hurrah. It's Noah's Ark at Sebring as well. Whoa, look at that. Carl Sharkey just snipping to the inside just at the last moment there before the braking zone. They all pile in. Did they get through clean? Tell you what, more or less. Oh, no, just as I say that, Ben Simpson's gone off. Oh, but nearly all getting through clean.
Yeah, it was nice, close stuff, though, as well. That's the thing, you know, it wasn't like everybody was just sort of backing out and making sure they were single file. They were still really racing for it, so awesome stuff to see from these guys once again. Look at this train near the back here. Stephen Harpen right in the thick of it. Austin Greatorex just in front has gained 5 places. Simon Povey in the Lady Penelope machine has gained 8. Saruta just in front has gained 7 as well, so these guys flying. Jacob Tofts has gained 4. I was going to say only 4, but still he's having a really good charge, but he's watching the other guys drive away from him at the minute, Peter. It's not quite the start he wanted in comparison to what those lot are doing.
Yeah, well, great start from Matt Camilio, but this is a long old race here at Sebring, 20 minutes. But as you can see, the sun is really baking down on the concrete here at Sebring, and it's a track that really evolves quite quickly. And they always say that over the course of a race at Sebring, you're always chasing the track. You're always thinking, what is it doing now? And if it's heating up, it gets very, very slippy and very, very greasy. Even over a race as short as 20 minutes, or seemingly as short, it actually feels like a long time because of that lack of grip. But look at Dan Bathy on a very alternative line, trying to defend from Paul Riga, who will get a lot of overspeed here, as well as Bathy goes a little bit wider as well, and Riga going for the over-under. And looks like Paul Anker's Riga is going to pull it off. Oh, this is going to get very tight, very, very tight. Oh dear. Well done, Dan Bathy. He actually he backed out of that one. Most people you'll see just go, we'll just go for it. But no, Dan, very, very clever, and they both carry on.
Yeah, it was nice awareness there, and that's the thing. You need to sometimes just concede in a moment like that, and you often see it, actually. The more and more I watch Formula One, the more surprised I get about it. You know, a driver will make a move, and then they'll pull back onto the racing line if you've gone through, say, a chicane. You know, they'll make a move in the first part of the chicane, and then be on the racing line for the second part, just, you know, assuming that the other guy will just concede. And I'm starting to see more and more of that in sim racing, but more of the conceding as well. So there's a good balance of it, I'd say, in most places, but this is sim racing, and we know that sim racers love to moan, and they do love to have incidents, no matter how much they say that they don't enjoy it. But either way, nice awareness all the same. Now, Crawford still with Mark Phillips. These two have been stuck together all evening. Gary Tull right behind them with Christian Zaruta, who's on an absolute charge at the minute. 8 places gained. He wants to make that another one and get even further into the top 10. He's already in 10th position after starting 18th on the grid. So how quickly he'll continue to rise now may be slowed by the fact that the field's a bit more spread out in front of him, but it's great stuff so far, Peter.
Yeah, and look at this train of cars as well. And I tell you what, the draft, these cars have got all a fixed setup, all the drivers on the same setup, and it's got maximum wing. It's the most amount of downforce that this car can have. Therefore, it's pretty draggy in a straight line. And therefore, the slipstream is pretty effective. And Tofts! Tofts is tangled up with Mark Baxter Jones. I think it's both the 11-10th cars, so 22 20ths in the wall.
Oh, there's a tiny touch.
And was it corner of 1,000 lines?
Yeah, indeed. And they'll have to write
more lines in Maradona's hotel room.
I was going to say Bernie will have him writing lines, but flipping heck. Right, Matt Camilio in front. I think John Elia got very unlucky there, by the way. He was just going to try and go round it, and then ended up being a part of it, unfortunately. We've still got a big train of 5 cars for the lead. Stephen Kershaw 5th in that. Chris Bowie blinking in and out a bit there. Oh, Greater X is around. I think maybe, Stuart Clark got involved as well. I think, is Stuart
parking up waiting for Austin?
Yeah, it's nice of him, to be fair. Let's have a look what happened. Was it just contact on the exit? Oh, Stuart's just a little bit late on the brakes. Clips him.
Yeah.
It's good stuff though from Stuart. That's really nice of him, and we've seen that a couple of times actually over the seasons that we've broadcast of the Porsche Club GB Sim Racing Championship, haven't we? And you know, the respect and the friendliness. Oh, he's actually gone off in sympathy now as well. That's even more respectful. But honestly, the respect and such a friendly community behind this championship has been absolutely wonderful, hasn't it? I've really enjoyed seeing it.
Yeah, and that's very much well encouraged from the organisers, the committee of the championship, to say if you take somebody off, do wait. And not good news for Simon Povey. Well, Gary Tull rubs up to the side of Lady Penelope there. Oh dear.
Oh, and look at that.
Oh, and look at Sharkey 3 wide into sunset. This always goes fantastic. Oh my word. Carl Sharkey backs out of it, says, "You guys are mad." On you go.
Bit more contact there as well, I think, between
Povey. Look at Sharkey now, picks up the throttle early.
You could say he could smell blood in the water there, could Carl Sharkey.
Oh,
but
finish them.
Doesn't quite get the run that you would have expected, though. Like you said, he did pick the throttle up early, but maybe just a bit of wheel spin here and there. Baxter Jones does the fastest lap of the race, 2:04.1. Really shows you how the temperature has risen. We'll bring up the weather even though it's not the right colour. 29 degrees Celsius. 8 degrees difference is a massive change from one race to the next. So these guys will be struggling during this one. Where is 7 minutes of this race gone, Peter?
I don't know. Into thin air, into the sands of time, as they say. Yeah. Matt Camilio has got to the front of the pack. So this is, I tell you what, these Braun GP cars are just giant killing performances in these reverse grid race. But it's a really poor exit there for Camilio. And Rieger's going to try and hook it down towards Cunningham Corner now. Who's going to have the... Oh, this is going to be very tight. But Rieger sees that Camilio's got the better of him there and will have to go and fight another day. But Chris Byram, much more like it, had a torrid race 1, and he's back on form in race 2. And your man there, Chaz, Dan Bathy, he's obviously had a double shot of Wellington blend from Sacred Coffee. Have to say, it won't be long till I need another repeat order. Wellington capsules, and you just, when you're finished with them, you take them out of an espresso machine, chuck them in the bucket because they're fully biodegradable and compostable pods.
Oh, it's contact!
Ben! Oh no!
Oh, Rieger. He went down the inside of Camilio.
Oh.
And I don't know what.
Oh no.
Oh, well, Camilio clearly not very happy there, and understandably so. Not sure quite what caused it with Rieger, although this is...
Oh dear, Camilio's a long way off.
Yeah, he's properly around. Let's... No,
I mean, being
still... There we go.
Camilio the Chameleon, he'll be...
Oh,
Rieger might not have seen him. Oh, that's a big nerf.
Yeah, I think Camilio went a bit wider than Paul did, and Paul was just... His nose was sort of automatically down the inside there, and then Matt, you know, he knows he's losing places anyway, so I think that was more in protest of what happened against Paul Rieger. And Paul fairly, you know, brings himself in, and I think he's putting himself...
tight.
Yeah, I think he's put himself in the sin bin more than anything there. Here's Saruta with Mark Phillips just behind him. Chris Bowie just in front of him. And Bowie's actually doing pretty well at the moment. 2 places gained. Started 6th. So he's going to be... you know, it's one of those performances where you hold on near the front when you've been put up there in the reverse grid. Because some of these drivers don't deal so well when they're under pressure. Get it?
I like it.
Bowie song. Christian Saruta down the inside.
Oh.
Look at that. Nice little lock up to go with it, but still gets it stopped with the assistance of the curb.
Boys now like, you rebel.
And they're driving like heroes.
And the boys now like, right, let's dance.
Well, there's no one in the field called John. Oh, there was Johnny Earlier, otherwise he would have said, John, I'm only dancing. Either way. Oh, God. I know too many Bowie songs. Simon Povey is trying to get past Byron Crawford, and Byron obviously spurred on by his race win.
Do you think he has a Twitch stream, Simon POV?
As long as it's only a Twitch stream. Right, Simon Povey trying to chase down Byron Crawford down the back straight. I'm sorry, everybody. I am a child. But
Sorry, lady.
Stephen Harford looking down the inside to try and get through past... Oh, Carl Sharkey. My sunset bend. It'll be sunrise by the time he gets back on the circuit. He's gone that wide there. But... that's the thing with that's corner. That there was a perfect example, wasn't it, of the different lines you can take and how you just end up in the order you were when you went in. That
it is. You can make liberal use of the karting line there as well, also known as missing the apex. But there's lots of different apexes, so you can pick one. But Povey's just that little nudge there is actually. He's given him you can see a reasonable amount of damage on the front right of that car, and that'll be killing his straight line speed, and that's not what you need here at Sebring, because you then become a bit of a sitting duck. Look at this, Byron Crawford getting quite a run on Povey there. Is he going to try and let off the brake and go for it? He's kind of committed now. Oh, in for a penny, in for a pound. Oh dear. Oh,
and there's been an issue in front actually for Stephen Kershaw. He's lost a lot of ground there. Mark Phillips actually got held up by it. And he's lost the place to Bowie. I was just about to say before that. Bowie has actually got down the inside of Kershaw as well. Great stuff. Povey, look at the opportunism there. He goes through as well. Oh no, Bowie's lost out. Well, if I was just about to say about Chris Bowie, he was the only driver that hadn't gone through any changes in his position. But he's actually gained one spot now, and he might actually be back into a neutral place because Kershaw loses it. Contact with him, manages not to put him off the track. Povey's still in this. 15 places gained so far. Look at this racing. This is absolutely incredible.
This is bananas. This is like Talladega on the high banks. This is unbelievable stuff. As well as they come through Hendebien and Le Mans curve and then onto the Almond Straight. And this is where we'll see how Povey is really struggling in a straight line as well. But look at this. It's draft battles galore as well. And oh, Carl Sharkey. Oh, this is just heaven on earth for Carl Sharkey. Slipstream towing everywhere.
Unbelievable stuff. Well, there was a bit of contact between Byron Crawford and Stephen Kershaw. Povey's ahead, actually. Povey's got past. Oh, there's contact with Bowie and he's into Phillips. Oh, no. There's contact afterwards as well. I think, his car's bent. It's broken. It's definitely got something wrong with it there as Mark Phillips' car. It was pulling right. Trying to go down the inside. There's Jacob Tofts. Where's Jacob come from after all of this? Jacob Tofts now suddenly in this fight. Oh, there's a moment in front. That's Chris Byram. He's off. They're 3 wide. Jacob Tofts in the middle. I didn't think Byron knew that they were 3 wide. Gary Toll goes down the inside of Mark Phillips. Tofts goes down the inside of Phillips as well. They're still side by side. No bumping Bernie. Chris Byram's off the circuit. That there was Mark Baxter Jones going down the inside of Sharkey. There's contact in the background and it's all gone to pot. My God.
There was just an irritability about that, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Byram's. He's got fair play to Chris Byram. He's dithering along in the grass, trying to get out everybody's way, and Austin Greatrex onto the grass there as well. Oh dear! Oh my God! Oh God!
Right, so let's piece this together. So Ben Simpson gets held up there down. That's James Cummings. He goes down the inside, maybe a bit late. There's a little bit of contact. Actually, James hits Byron just as Ben hits James. They all go off the circuit. On the inside of the track, I think it was Paul No, it wasn't Paul Rieger. Who was it that had gone off? Greatorex had gone off. Comes back on. Byron tries to avoid him.
No, but Byron got hit by Ben Simpson coming onto the circuit.
Yeah. I think he pulled right a little bit to avoid Greatorex coming on, and then he got put into the bridge.
Yeah, he was hitting one at pick one.
Yeah. Oh God. Well, that lap and a half, or that. Well, actually, no, that was only about half a lap, wasn't it? That was absolutely incredible stuff. I absolutely loved it. And we've still got this great train here. Although, to be fair, I'm not quite sure that Chris Bowie's car in the state it's in would get him to Suffragette City, but he's going to have to try and hold on to at least the end of the race. What a tune that is. I think that was the first Bowie song I remember hearing. But Jacob Tofts, what a drive. He still managed, after the misfortune earlier of just being held up in all those battles, he's still gained 15 places and he's up to 6th. He needs this tonight, though, because he needs to gain points on Dorrington, doesn't he?
He does, and he's got to think about Povey as well. Now, at the moment, Povey's only 3 spots ahead, so that's not a great amount. Yeah, it's not a great amount of championship points, and you would imagine that over the next 5 minutes, Jacob Toss might pick up a couple more places, possibly, and that would be very much a reverse grid job done, I would say. On balance, a win and a reverse grid top 5 would be. Oh my goodness, Gary Top's going to clear it. Oh, how has he got that one stopped? Goodness me. Oh, dearie me. Oh,
that was a filthy cutback.
Yeah.
Oh, Gary Toll could take him to court for that. Absolutely.
Gary's going, you cheeky young man.
Yeah. That was just naughty. I'm sorry. No offense, Gary, but I hope you're wearing a belt, mate. Flipping heck. That was just... Still great racing, though, and just amazing charge forward from Jacob Tofts. Povey having a fantastic drive. And let's not forget, Christian Zaruta, 16 spots gained at the moment. He was very close to his teammate Camilio before, who had that incident with Rieger. They're now both way down the order. Although Camilio actually is in 10th place, so shut up, Chaz. But, it's not where he wants to be after leading the race for so long. But, yeah, I think we need to look back at this, really, because this is still going on, Peter. I don't know how these drivers are going to feel after this race, but they'll be absolutely buzzing.
We're now in the chopper. As you can see, whoa, and Carl Sharkey coming from downtown there as well. But yeah, you'd imagine that Jacob Toft is going to get past Harpham for 4th position. Povey sets the fastest lap of the race, 204.0, so the pace is definitely slower this race. Obviously, the track temperature coming up a bit and causing that as well. And problem for Camilio behind. Camilio, I think, spun out of Sunset. Yeah. Oh dear, that's gone from bad to worse for Matt Camilio. Kind of a story of what could have been for the Brun GP driver. That's shutting the door late. Goodness me, you're not welcome at the rural in-laws, obviously.
People are going to think you're psychic. It's obvious we're on different cameras because we could not see Camilio have that issue.
I totally loaded them.
It's all good. Honestly, it's good to have a different point of view. It's fine. Simon Povey, though, just coming back to that lap time he did, it was a second faster than Saruta and 1.9 seconds quicker than Dan Bathy last time round. So, again, we have a driver that's on a real charge, but I don't think it's going to be enough time left in the race for him to do anything about it. We'll have to see. Here is Bowie, still defending from Baxter Jones and Carl Sharkey.
The Lady Penelope is saying, full steam ahead, Parker. And Simon Povey's going, yes, my lady.
Yes,
we'll need to get him a hat. We'll need to get him a Parker driver hat.
I don't know whether it's just me remembering it wrong, but didn't Parker sound like a Brummie? Oh, yes, my lady.
Yeah, he sounded like Austin. bet he got his seats. He's like, Parker sat in a Cobra seat.
I don't want to sit in this, my lady. It's ruining.
I mean, it's no chillage, but it should be.
Why is it not got Ricaros?
Ricaros, better seat.
We should be locked up, right?
Yep.
If you'd see an update on my social media, everybody saying that someone's taken over and Chaz is in a padded cell, then Peter and this broadcaster to blame. Povey again, fastest lap of the race. Look at that, right with Saruta now. So you could think that Povey's going to be Saruta of his problems. Oh God, that's desperate. But it's been an epic drive from him, you have to say. I mean, we know how quick he is, and he had a bit of... I think it was him that had a bit of misfortune at Laguna Seca, wasn't it? You know, he was so fast all the way through. There was a bit of contact near the end of the race, but it's been amazing, again, to see just this fantastic commitment and just determination from Simon Povey. This is going to be the final lap of the race as well, so Saruta will be gutted to lose this position if he does. But he's making him work for it round the outside in the hairpin. He needs to leave the room on the exit, though. Very important here. Still side-by-side. Epic stuff from the pair of them. Nearly contact again there. Povey just squeezing a little bit to the curb on the inside. Back into the right hand. There they go. Hard on the brakes. The pair of them still side-by-side, but I think Povey's going to have this done. Great respect from the pair of them. Awesome driving from Povey. But 4 seconds up the road, Peter. Double shot, Dan Bathy.
Tell you what, absolutely. Yeah, get them espresso martinis on ice with Sacred Coffee, of course. As well, we still want to see the Sacred Coffee espresso martini, like half Sacred Coffee, half martini livery as well. That has to happen before the end of the season. Maybe an end of season special, but what a drive from Dan Bathy. Well, whatever. I tell you what, he should break his triple screens more often.
He does, yeah. It's quite often, actually, I hear of this. You know, someone has a bit of a bad time with their sim racing hardware or a software issue or something, and then they go well and they win a race. So, you know, if you want to win a race in your coming week, just put your foot through your monitor. That's how you do it. Anyway, Dan Bathy, no matter what's happened to his monitors, he's going to be very, very pleased. He'll probably punch the other one in excitement. Dan Bathy wins round 8 of the Porsche Club Great Britain Sim Racing Championship. Simon Povey, an awesome drive to second. Christian Zaruta, 15 places gained for third. You know, that's not a bad effort either. Fair play. Jacob Toft, 4th. Stephen Harpham, 5th, ahead of Gary Tall, Mark Baxter Jones, Carl Sharkey, Austin Greater. Look how close they are together. All of those lot giving us magnificent entertainment all the way through. And James Cummings trying to get past Matt Camilio at the line, Peter.
Yeah, kind of a story of what could have been for Matt Camilio. You've got to think he'd be up there with his Braun GP teammate, Chris Saruta, but Wow, what a meeting that was. And Jacob Toft, I think we'll look back on that drive as a really, really important one, because remember, he was caught up in an incident earlier on, really put to the back and charged through to 4th position. And Povey, although a brilliant drive from Povey, he's not going to get much of a jump on Tofts after this round. But Matt Dorrington's probably watching this going, yeah, maybe need to make sure I've got the calendar well and truly marked off for 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, definitely, because Jacob Tofts did exactly what he needed to do this evening. I said early on that with Matt Dorrington not here, he needs to secure as many points as possible. And this evening, he's almost had the perfect night. So, that's not that race, is it? That's the first one. Apologies. Dan Bathy takes the win from Simon Povey, with Christian Zaruta in 3rd ahead of Jacob Tofts, Stephen Harpham, Gary Tall, Mark Baxter-Jones, Carl Sharkey, Austin Greatorex and Chris Bowie. Matt Camilio finishes in 11th place, just ahead of James Cummings, with Ben Simpson just behind. Byron Crawford was 14th ahead of Bernie himself, Mark Phillips, with Stuart Clark the last car on a lead lap. Behind him was just Stephen Kershaw, with 3 laps down. Chris Byron 4 laps down, a torrid night for him, he'll be gutted after that. Paul Rieger 5 laps down, Johnny Elia also 5 laps down, and Mark Johnson obviously did not take to the start. But they're all at it. They're all having a bit of a mad slow down. Yeah, Parker's got a little bit excited there. We actually have already with us, we have the wonderful Luke Holroyd in the box with us. Luke, you must be very, very pleased after what seemed like quite an easy race on the outside, but we know that it's far from easy when you have that many drivers all chasing you down and the pressure of leading a race. How did you feel throughout that one?
Yeah, it wasn't easy, and bonjour, Chaz. Well done on the clear commentary.
Thank you, mate. Much appreciated.
Yeah, it was. I was surprised to get pole actually, and then just heading off. Just through the practice, I knew that the tyres were starting to go near the end, so I was just trying to protect them. I knew Tom would probably have the pace on me. I'm not entirely sure. I need to watch it back what happened behind, but I thought he'd catch me, and then it was just I was trying to save some tyres just for when that would happen, but luckily it didn't. So I was saying afterwards to some of the guys, I think it's the worst thing when you're at the front on your own like that. Even there's a couple of seconds gap, you're just concentrating so much, thinking, God, don't make a mistake. Yeah. But yeah, I just looked after the tyres, which was the key for me.
Yeah, that's the thing around here, because it really, I mean, I said early on, there's so many places here where you get that little bit of slip on the rear end as well when you're just a bit eager out of a corner. Not only will it affect your momentum, but it really can kill the tyres around here if you just push it that extra bit too hard. And like you say, when you're out on your own at the front, you've not got a reference car either. I'm not sure about you, but I prefer to have other cars close by, so I know how I'm doing in a visual sense, not just by numbers. Is that something that you prefer, or is it just the numbers that are sort of more reassuring for you?
I try not to look at the relative too much. I think everyone does it though. It's like a bad habit when you're in front of somebody. So I was trying to only look at that like once a lap just to kind of see where the gap was, and just really paying attention to braking zones. It's so easy, like you said, when there's no reference in front, to just miss that braking zone. And this, I don't know if everyone agrees, but this track, certain bits look very similar. Obviously, most of the braking zones have the cones on the side, but you don't always brake at the same point for each corner, obviously. So just mega concentration, and just, luckily once I saw there'd been a bit of drama behind whatever happened, I was just able to back off a couple of metres in the braking zones to make sure I just played it safe.
Well, it certainly worked out for you, mate. And in the championship standings, you're now 16 points clear of Angus Archer, so it's definitely going your way at the minute. Do you think that you could hold on to that season long, or is it just a meeting by meeting basis, you reckon?
I don't know. I think there's quite a few of us at the front that have a very similar pace. I'm surprised by that actually. I think going into it I was 1 or 2 behind. It's just that reverse grid again pays dividends. We see it every race, every season. I was lucky that I managed to get through that. I think I got up to the top 5, and then there was a an incident in front at the Sunset Corner. With the new update with iRacing with the smoke, it's so hard now to see. It's hard to avoid incidents. And I went through the smoke, and there was someone in front of me and had a huge tank slap. I don't know how I held it actually.
That's the thing in this car, isn't it, though? When you adjust because of something that someone else is doing, that's the time when you're definitely going to lose it, isn't it? Because it doesn't react well to being launched around. You do need to sort of guide it, don't you?
Yeah, and this car, everyone will know when you think you've caught it, and then it goes the opposite direction. And I don't know how I held it, but I enjoyed both races. Great. I'm glad Amo got a win as well. I'm happy for him. But from my perspective, the driving was brilliant. It was fair and clean throughout. I'm really happy with it.
Cracking. Well, before we let you go, Luke, is there anybody that you would like to give a quick shout out to?
I'm going to shout out the missus this time, because she lets me do this every week, and we've had a busy weekend. The guys have been running in Preventic and the EEC as well, so I've spent a lot of time on the sim. So I'll miss the sponsors this week, and shout out the missus Alice for letting me on it all the time.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. And they always say behind a great man is a great woman. So
exactly.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Well done, Luke. Great to see you get that win, mate. And another strong night, and now you're championship leader as well. We obviously look forward to seeing whether you can hold on to that, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys. And the man bun comes off soon, so you'll be happy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
hairdressers are booked.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
You mean barbers? That's the manly way of doing it.
Yeah.
Nice one, Luke. We'll see you soon, buddy. Have a good night.
You too.
Cheers. Top bloke there, Luke Holroyd, bless him. Absolute star. And another star of this evening, which we have to have a word with. Amrik Sachdev takes a win this evening. Amrik, you must be absolutely over the moon with that, mate.
Listen, I am, but I thought I'd done something wrong, because I was waiting for you lot to say, come and join us after the race thing, and I didn't get any invites, and I thought, shit, have I done something wrong? Am I going to be thrown out? Should have given somebody a drive back, or what have I done? Because I didn't get a chance to watch the replay, because I went straight in to watch the pros kill each other. So it was honestly, I was thinking I'd done something wrong. So I'm glad you finally called me after 3 hard seasons of slog trying to win something.
Well, it's been great to see you do it, mate. Apologies for the language there, everybody, but either way, in the heat of the moment, mate, who cares? With the stuff me and Peter say, to be fair, it's nothing.
No, I know.
It's not the easiest of tracks to get a race win on, though, is it? I mean, you had a lot of time to sort of focus out front, but as we've just spoken to Luke there, that's not always the best thing to have, is it? The tracks yourself.
Can I tell you, I hate being ahead. I mean, chasing people's fine, because you're just kind of following them, you're concentrating on them. But when you've got nothing ahead of you, it's actually the hardest thing to do. Because you're sitting there, all of a sudden, you start thinking all these things. I was thinking, take it easy, don't go off the track. If I win, what am I going to say to Chaz and Peter? All these weird thoughts come into your mind, and you have to kind of give yourself a slap and say, look, just concentrate on your breaking points and the things. And I honestly, I don't like it, but I've been doing a lot of AI races, so it kind of helps to kind of get into that mindset. But I'd rather be chasing someone, overtaken with about 2 corners to go, and rather than being in the lead for 5 laps. Because I started looking at the relative, and I could see Tom was like 3 or 4 seconds, and then it was 2, and it's like, stop panicking, just drive properly and do what you did to get you into that position. So it was a bit nervy, but it was good fun. I actually enjoyed it. It's a horrible track, because you feel like you've done 10 rounds with Mike Tyson when you finished it. I mean, it's especially with the direct drive wheel, it's actually hard work. There are things bouncing around all over the place, but it was good fun.
Well, it was great to watch. I mean, it's the reverse grid races are always so exciting for us, because we never know who's going to take a win. And I mean, you getting this win is one of the most popular wins we'll see all season, definitely, because we've been willing you on to win this for so long.
I've seen it, and to be honest with you, I quite fancied myself in race 1, and it was a bit. I mean, I apologise to Andy Shepherd, because I had a very slight contact with him, and these cars, if you blow on the rear end, they just spin round. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I said sorry to him, and I did, radio through to say, look, where are you? I'll let you through. And he told me he was meatballed, so just crack on. So, but I did quite fancy it because I've been doing quite a lot of AI races. So, it was I'd done quite a lot of practice for it, and I was looking forward to a bit of a battle. So it was a bit annoying that I ended up spinning him, and then just having to fight from there. But the second race was good fun. All of a sudden, I caught up with about 4 cars and thinking, and then it was just carnage at that hairpin. Everybody seemed to be on. I don't know what they were doing. Everyone was spinning around in front of me. I got smashed up the backside as well for my trouble trying to avoid them. But it was all right. It was good fun.
Well, it certainly looked like it, Amrik. It was awesome to watch. Really enjoyed that, and it was a very pleasurable experience being able to finally say that you won a race in the Porsche.
I know,
Club of Great Britain.
it was great. I was looking forward to it. Where's Peter? He hasn't said anything. Is he still there?
He's probably speechless.
Oh, I know. I'm just reveling in this insight, Amo. It's fantastic stuff. It's and it's funny that you might have fancied yourself, but so does Chaz.
He's
fancies himself.
I thought you were going to say then Peter actually.
Yeah, I thought, how does Chaz fancy me? He's never seen me.
I think Peter actually had you as his pick for race 1 as well. Actually, I thought that's what he was going to say.
Right, yeah.
I did as well. I
Must be a commentator's curse, Amrik. That's the thing.
No, I know. It was just one of those things. But it's all
and
part
Chaz picked Dan Baddy for the pro.
Yeah, did he win it the first one, or he won the second one? Didn't he? I was watching the highlights.
Yeah,
he did. Yeah,
that was quite exciting.
It was
all that
awesome.
sacred coffee he's drinking.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't drink tea or coffee, so I can't order any from him.
Oh, finally a normal person.
Yeah, it's not health reasons. I just don't like hot drinks.
Yeah, I
drink enough alcohol to make up for the other stuff.
Oh, I don't drink enough alcohol. Not to cope with the stuff I do every day. Anyway, it was brilliant to speak to you, Amrik. Thank you very much for joining us, mate. Pleasure to finally see you get that win. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I would like to give a massive shout out to Gavin Halls, even though Peter the Mouth MacKay gave the game away a couple of, I think, in the last race. Because I've been doing a lot of work with him since the beginning of the season, just to get better and this and that and the other. And it's been a massive help. I've been doing some sessions with him on each of the tracks and stuff, and he's been a massive help to everything that I've been doing. So,
well, fair play and hats off, mate. It's been great to see. And we hope it is not the last win we see you get as well. But we'll see you next time round, buddy. You have yourself a fantastic evening.
I will do. Thank you, gents. And I'm going to go and watch it on YouTube now and gloat.
Make sure you have some tissues ready, because it was a funny one.
Yeah. Thanks, Peter.
See
you later, Chaz.
Awesome. Really top bloke, isn't he? Absolute star, bless him. And speaking of stars, the man that won the second race this evening, Dan Bathy. Mate, I mean, to be fair, we've got the same question lined up really to start this off, because Amrik and Luke have both said similar things. When you're out front on your own and you've not got a reference car around you, do you think that's worse or better than having a car nearby?
I think it's worse in some ways, because especially when you've got faster guys behind, because you just see that relative come down, and you're just trying to not make a mistake, which then the mistakes start to happen because you start thinking about things. So I think it's always easier to chase someone down, and it's always a nice feeling if you know you're faster. Whereas in that second race, I was just I inevitably going to get caught sometime, and just trying to stick to a lap time. But yeah, luckily it was managed to hold on to the end. But wasn't expecting that at all.
Well, Peter's blaming it on the coffee and says that you're just that focused. You just have that much sacred coffee, double shots.
Yeah.
That it has just got to your head and you've cracked on with it. But I mean, talk to me about Sebring in this car. I mean, we know it's not an easy car to drive anywhere. It's very sort of floaty everywhere you go. On a bumpy track like this, where curbs are aplenty and there's not too much undulation, obviously with it being an old airfield, but it's just Sebring's got something, hasn't it, that just makes this car extra tricky.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think for me this was my sort of worst track, which makes it even stranger. I mean, this today was the first time I've actually managed to get some practice in, and
Oh wow.
my left monitor broke as well, so I was being extra cautious trying to race people. Everyone tried to overtake me on the left hand side, which was so of course. So I had to try and give so much room to just stay in the race basically. And the first race, I just couldn't see the accident until it was there, in the first corner. But I mean, in the end, it actually helped me in starting further forward. And it was tricky. I just trying to hold on to the car. I had a few moments in the second race, just sort of like getting the back end out a little bit, and I was like, no, just keep it together, please.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Over the course of a race, you will have a lot of moments where you think, if I'd have just overcorrected that little bit more, it could have spat me off the other way, or if I hadn't have corrected it as much or put my foot in, the car would have gone around. This car is so on the limit all the time, isn't it?
Oh, it is. And I'm struggling a bit with the setup this year as well, which is it's kind of made it even harder, I think, for me to kind of get to grips with the car. I'm really struggling to get the speed out of it compared to the others, and like some of the new guys that have come in are so fast, and it's been pretty tricky, but it is still great to try and sort of the racing's always good, and and trying to tame the car, especially on tracks like this, is always a challenge. So it's always enjoyable, but even nicer when you win, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's been a long time coming to see you get a win this season. I mean, it feels like it's been going on for so long. So much has been happening with this new format. It's absolutely awesome. But great to see you get it done, and well deserved in our opinion. Peter and I both agree that we wanted you to get a win. We try and remain unbiased in the box, but you've always been up there, so it's good to see it. Before we let you go though, mate, I mean, the question by now. Do you want to give anyone a shout out?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it's Sacred. They've it's a good partner to have. Nice to have some fresh coffee always. So and to you guys, and I always watch the broadcast back, and it's always really enjoyable. Makes me laugh. So
thank you.
Yeah, and then my family and my girlfriend, who lets me spend time sim racing and take over the spare room, which is very grateful. Tom and Kit, like Tom Slater, who's got into the in sim racing and doing really well this year. So it's really nice. I was watching his race while trying to practice at the same time. So it's good fun trying to keep an eye on him as well. But and Mitch and Rebecca, who watch the race as well. So yeah, thank you.
Brilliant stuff, Dan. Great to speak to you, mate. Well done. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. See you guys.
Cheers. Well, just as the music stops as well, we have Dan Bathy there just leaving the box, and the other man we bring in he may have finished fourth in that second race, but a win in race one and some absolutely incredible pace. Jacob Tofts joins us. Jacob, you were on fire in that first one, mate. What was that like for you? Did it seem like a walk in the park, or was it quite a stressful one?
It was the furthest away you could be from a walk in the park ever. You could be like, I don't know, in London Park, and you'd be in Australia. I got so lucky with Simon having a bit of a bad start. I was able to just hold the gap and somehow keep it there. I really wasn't comfortable this week with the track or anything.
Well, you could have fooled me, mate, flipping heck. Some of the pace was absolutely amazing. It seemed like, I mean, you say that now, it sort of makes sense with the start of the second race. It seemed like you were a little bit tentative at that point. Was that just because of all the other cars around you and the pace difference, or was that just your own sort of discomfort with the car and the track combo?
No, I haven't had a clean reverse grid race at all season, so I was like, this race, every other race so far, there's been massive crashes. This race, I'm going to wait, be patient. and this was the only race where I think one car spun on the first lap.
Yeah, and it's Peter and I discussed the sort of tactic of these reverse grid races earlier on in the broadcast, and said, we saw Ryan Parkins take the championship last season because of the fact that he was so good at being tentative at the right time but pushing at the right time. There is a real art form to it, isn't there? But that all revolves around knowing the drivers that you're racing with as well, and obviously as a new driver to the series this season, I suppose that's still something you're developing, is it?
I think so, yeah. I wouldn't say I'm not comfortable, or there's someone I can name who I'm not comfortable racing with.
Yeah.
Just sort of take it by as it goes and sort of do it on the job, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it is one of those things, isn't it? You have to learn a lot of it on the job in this sort of environment. But I mean, we've got Sebring out of the way at least. If it seems like a bit of not a bogey track for people, because they've still gone well there. I mean, Dan Bathy said it was potentially his worst track on the calendar out of the ones that he would have chosen. So he's certainly proved us wrong here this evening. But in the rounds that are remaining, have you got a track that you expect to do well at over others?
I'm not sure what's remaining. I think it's Zandvoort next race. Other than that, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is Zandvoort. Yeah.
Zandvoort will be fun to drive. I'm not sure how to race. I spoke to Austin. He said it raced quite well a few seasons ago, so I just try and win. That's all I can do.
Fair play. Well, I imagine. I'm not sure what your opinion on the rest of the calendar is, but I know Peter will be absolutely licking his lips with it, because we have Zandvoort, Brands Hatch, Alton Park at Road Atlanta. It's just filth.
That smells like Peter MacKay to me.
It does. Alton Park with no chicanes as well.
Oh.
Yes, please.
Oh,
Peter's
yeah.
going to be loving that.
There's going to be some aeroplane accidents into Clay Hill. Oh my goodness.
Maybe I'll have to, I don't know, watch the stream whilst I drive or something.
You'll have it on as just we'll be like a reporting service for what goes on behind, because no doubt most of them will be behind you anyway with the pace you've got, Jacob. It's been very impressive to see this.
You get rid of that number though, mate.
I'll work on it. Well, we beat Pure Sims at the weekend.
Oh,
I enjoyed that.
There it goes.
It was good.
Right.
I thought you would.
I was like, go on, Jake, go on, get it.
Wow. There you go. Well, congratulations on that, by the way, Jacob. Awesome
thanks.
stuff. But honestly, it's been wonderful to see you racing this season. Obviously, still plenty of it left to go. Do you want to give anybody a quick shout out while you're here?
Yeah, the usual, please. Porsche Sport, Strasser Racing, and My Dust Simulation, as well as Johnny Moore Watches, personally for me, and you guys and all the organisers.
Cracking stuff, Jacob. Great to speak to you again, mate. Well done, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Cheers, mate. Awesome stuff. I love how he got the reference and still put that in there as well, knowing that Ash Sutton Ash Sutton runs Pure Sims. But we've had a hell of a night here tonight, Peter, at Sebring. We knew it was going to be a good one. Obviously, one of, if not your favourite track. How was that for you, mate? Because, I mean, aside from all the laughs we have, as we always do, that was some awesome racing, especially that very last race.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic all the way through. I mean, we were absolutely spoiled for action, both in the club class, 2 races, and then 2 races in the pro class as well. And these championships are going to be very, very tight to call. I mean, after just an update before we go off there, I mean, Jacob tossed 136 points, 12 points ahead of Simon Povey, and Matt Dorrington, all of a sudden, it just shows you cannot afford to miss rounds. He's 19 points back now.
Yeah, 7 points off Simon Povey and 5 points ahead of Austin Greatorex, who's only 11 points ahead of Matt Baxter Jones. It's incredibly close. So we are going to have a hell of a finale, no matter where we end up, no matter who is where. It could all very much change at the last minute. Unfortunately, though, everybody, that is all we have time for this evening here on Simracersworld TV. It's been an absolute joy once again. Thank you very much, Peter. Always a pleasure, mate, and I look forward to every time we work together. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Everyone that's liked the video, subscribed to Simracersworld as well. He's been the wonderful Peter MacKay. I've been Chaz Draycott, the one that can't speak French, and we will hopefully see you all again in 2 weeks' time. Have a great night, everyone.